Super Sunday closes down in California with Game 2 at the Stanford Super Regional in this best of 3, where Texas is 1 win away from the Men's College World Series after stunning Stanford yesterday. So now the Cardinal, the number 8 overall seed in the country, must win to save its season. Welcome to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. It is Game 2 between Stanford and Texas, a couple teams that have been to Omaha each of the last 2 years. Yesterday, Texas entered the 9th inning down by 3 and were facing Stanford stud closer Ryan Bruno, but the Longhorns patiently waited. They swung just 1 time in 26 pitches against Bruno. They walked their way to the bases loaded with nobody out, and that's when Mitch Daly lofted a ball to right field, and it went off the glove of Stanford right fielder Saborn Campbell, made it a 1-run game. Later on in the inning, Porter Brown, the TCU transfer, came through and gave Texas its first lead of the game. And from there, that was plenty, because Zane Morehouse slammed the door shut with Petroleum en route to his 7-5 win. So it's a 1-0 lead for Texas. Elsewhere, number 1 overall seed Wake Forest blasted Alabama today to reach its first College World Series since the 1950s. LSU and Kentucky playing Game 2 right now, and a Game 3 looms tomorrow for Southern Miss and Tennessee. With that, we say hello and welcome to Stanford alongside Kyle Peterson. Mike Monaco with you. And Texas had not a whole lot going into the 9th inning yesterday, and now KP, they're 1 win away from another trip to Omaha.
Yeah, maybe not exactly the way that Texas thought they were going to come back there in the 9th inning. They just had a lot of help, and patience is not an easy thing to do in a situation like that, but patience paid off. You get 5 runs on 1 hit in the inning, and it gets them to a point where now they're a win away from a place they know pretty well.
And they can give the ball today to a guy in LeBaron Johnson Jr., who last weekend in the regionals threw a complete game.
It seems like he's getting better every week, and now he's turned into a co-ace for this Texas team. For LeBaron, you're going to see a fastball that's into the mid-90s and a real wipeout slider. It's pretty much just those two. Control has gotten better. I think understanding of his craft has gotten a lot better over the course of the season, but he's provided Texas with a real 1-2 punch, and they really do have 2 aces. He's also coming off his best with CG against Miami in the region.
Yeah, the vibes are good for LBJ. Stanford, meanwhile, backs against the wall, and they can give the ball to their ace today. Quinn Mathews, one of the best pitchers in the country, a senior who got drafted last year, came back for moments like this.
He did. He came back from moments like last weekend, too. Started the opener against San Jose State in the regional, and then came back on 2 days rest and told David Esker and his coaching staff, I'm going to pitch today. And he was a big part of that win against Texas A&M to get him here. Pushed him back a day. That's why he's throwing Game 2 of this, but he's the reigning Pac-12 pitcher of the year. He really pitches above his stuff. He's not going to show you 95, 96. What he is going to show you is a left-hander that really knows how to get around a lineup. That's why he's got a chance to be 2nd in the country in strikeouts at the end of the night.
They are both locked in with their headphones, their pregame tunes. We are ready to go. LeBaron Johnson will face a Stanford offense that has slugged all season. Yesterday was no different, with home runs from Drew Bowser and Malcolm Moore. The Cardinal need that today to stay alive. Texas trying to get back to Omaha. The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallets? And in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Stanford and Texas. The Stanford Bats coming up, one of the best offenses in the country, top 15 in runs per game. And they've got the projected first-round pick, Tommy Troy, who's been great in the postseason the last couple of years.
He's been outstanding, and I think Stanford needs some of that tonight. Troy hitless last night. He did walk twice. He scored the first time, but it feels like Stanford's going to need some Tommy Troy thump tonight.
In another elimination game as the Cardinal face LeBaron Johnson Jr., redshirt sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida. 6'4", 215 pounds, first-team Big 12 choice, who gets the ball after Lucas Gordon worked yesterday for Texas. And as we told you off the top, MVP of the Coral Gables Regional with that complete game, 129 pitches.
First time he's gone CG, so see how he bounces back from that. But for LeBaron Johnson Jr., it's a fastball that average velocity this year is right about 94 miles an hour. So you're going to see it rise up over the course of the game. Likes to use the bottom part of the zone, and the slider plays against both righties and lefties.
His 1-2 to Eddie Park is down low. 2-2 on the Stanford leadoff man and center fielder. David Pierce, the Texas head coach, said to us this weekend about LBJ. He got a lot of publicity coming off last week, and if anyone can handle the noise, I think he can, but he's never had it before.
You have success wearing that uniform, there's going to be some noise. That's kind of the way that it works when you're at Texas.
David Pierce in Texas, 1 win away from Omaha. 3-2 to Park. Outside. That's what Eddie Park does. 6 pitches, and he is on for Stanford. The Stanford team gave up those 5 runs in the 9th inning. Just 1 hit by Texas. 4 walks, a hit by pitch, and an error. David Esker said after the game, what a ball game, but a tough way to lose. But he was positive, as he very often is post-game.
Yeah, that's the one consistency there. He's always going to be positive.
They've got the leadoff man on here to start game 2, and now it is Tommy Troy, one of the best sluggers in the country. Junior third baseman from Los Gatos, California, team leader in OPS coming into the Super Regionals after he was a preseason first-team All-American and lived up to it. Quickly behind 0-2. Tommy Troy 0 for 3 yesterday, a couple of walks, including one intentionally late in the game. Johnson checks on Park. Texas did not lead, as we told you, until the 9th last night. It changed suddenly. Johnson's 0-2. Troy strikes out. 1 away.
Sequence right there. Went slider for a called strike, then fastball on the outside blacked, and he comes back with that slider that there's a ton of swing and miss. Swing and miss on this is about 50% to righties and lefties. And there's not a whole lot of horizontal. It's pretty much straight top to bottom. That time Tommy Troy out in front of it a little bit. First out of the game is a strikeout for LeBaron Johnson Jr.
David Pierce told us that slider is in the zone forever. It's late and it's quick movement. That's what Johnson goes to for his first out. Now faces Carter Graham, slugging first baseman in the 3 spot for the Cardinal. First team Pac-12 for the LA native, who came into the weekend with 75 RBIs, second best in the Pac-12 and top 20 in the country. And Johnson is just pouring it over the zone. Thomas, and you gotta love that. Eddie Park did not bite.
And they get him smiling a little bit. A freshman trying to steal an out over at first base right there.
Talk about playing loose in the Super Regional. 0-2. Graham pops it up toward the third base Texas dugout. Peyton Powell tracks and reaches back for out number 2.
Just about overran this one. Peyton Powell all the way over, and then just enough time at the end. Not a whole lot of wind here. What, we got 4 miles an hour maybe tonight?
Sounds about right.
We'll call it 4. We're going to go with 4-ish. How about that?
I was hoping you would go with knots or something.
Knots,
super
yes.
Sophisticated.
Yeah, that is me. Big knots guy.
Yeah. All right, 2 outs for LeBaron Johnson Jr., who now faces the cleanup man for Stanford, Braden Montgomery. Switch hitter, sophomore from Madison, Mississippi, first team Pac-12 as well. Swung it well yesterday. And once again, normally the right fielder, he DHs for David Esker here in game 2 like he did yesterday. So again, it's another start in right field for Saborn Campbell. And Montgomery, a 2-way guy, a pitching option out of the bullpen. He's the DH. First pitch to him. Montgomery rolls it towards second, and Jacko Dowd makes it a scoreless first for LeBaron Johnson Jr. in Game 2 just underway. Texas bats for the first time against Quinn Mathews after this. Texas, after a 5-run ninth inning in Game 1, comes up here in Game 2, and Porter Brown had the big go-ahead hit, the TCU transfer on the big stage.
Yeah, they didn't swing a lot in that inning, but Porter Brown comes up with a two-run single to right, excuse me. Gave Texas their first lead of the game, and then Zane Morehouse would shut it down in the ninth inning. They're going to face a left-hander that is among the best in the entire country. Quinn Mathews, Pac-12 pitcher of the year. Came back, was a 19th round draft pick last year by the Rays, and came back from moments like this. California native who really pitches above his true stuff, I think. The fastball is going to be low 90s, 90 to 92. Breaking ball is good. Changeup is good. He'll throw any at any point. But a left-hander just really understands how to get guys out.
He is cerebral, and he's the Pac-12 pitcher of the year, the third in a row for Stanford. Faces Jared Thomas, freshman first baseman for the Longhorns. Mathews coming into this weekend, the nation's leader in innings pitched, and as KP said, third in the country in strikeouts. Thomas drags a bunt toward first, and Carter Graham wins the foot race. One away. It was a big weekend for Quinn Mathews. Game 1, the starter against San Jose State, 7 innings, 114 pitches. 3 days later, 4 innings out of the pen.
Yeah, a big part of it, 180 pitches over the course of it. Good job, and decision right there by Carter Graham. If you don't have to flip that one, there's no reason to. You just bring it in something else that could potentially go wrong. Just got that right foot on the bag in time.
For the first out for Quinn Mathews, now faces Peyton Powell. 4th-year junior third baseman in the 2 spot from Robinson, Texas, and a second-team Big 12 choice. Second on the Horns in OPS, right around 1,000. Breaking ball for a strike. With the shift on against Powell, the 1-1. Bouncing ball, and Powell beats the shift. Nicely done. He takes his 1-out single for Texas here in the first.
Obviously plenty of room on the left side of the infield right here for the left-handed hitting Peyton Powell. Took a breaking ball just before this, got a fastball, a little backside ground ball that, even if they're not shifted, I'm not quite sure if you make this play. It had been on 2 hops and deep for Becerra at shortstop. Instead, it goes as the first hit of the night for Texas.
And so man aboard for Dylan Campbell, the right fielder, who yesterday was hitless for the first time since March 24th. It had been a 38-game hitting streak, a Texas and a Big 12 record. His head coach David Pierce grabbed him after the game and said, 38, that's pretty awesome, huh? And Dylan Campbell said, that's right. I didn't have a hit.
Oh, yeah. Like that approach.
David Pierce said, well, you got a big win. And added, I think Dylan was comfortable with that trade-off. He was 0 for 3 with a walk intentionally in the 9th, and also reached catcher's interference an inning prior. Strikes out here. Quinn Mathews with his first K. A changeup for out number 2.
Back-to-back changeups on him right there. So for Mathews, you're going to see more changeups to righties and some more breaking balls to lefties. But he'll throw either one to each. He just stays, honestly, off speed with the stuff that's moving away from the barrel. And this was it right here. Arm speed is good. Grip creates the pitch. Dylan Campbell out in front right there. It's first strikeout of the day for Quinn Mathews.
You talked about the whiff rate on the LeBaron Johnson slider. It's pretty similar for Quinn Mathews on his changeup. He's got 2 outs, and now the Texas cleanup man and catcher, Garrett Gilmet, out ahead of a changeup. Gilmet, the USC transfer in his first year with Texas. team leader in average exit velo this season. He's down 0-2. 4 in a row.
4 changeups in a row. Yeah, and you may see number 5 right here.
It's a pitch that Quinn Mathews has thrown 25% of the time this season. Loading up on it here in his first inning. 0-2. Strikes out Gilmet. What pitch? You guessed it, another changeup. Back-to-back Ks for the venerable Stanford left-hander in the first. NCAA Super Regional coverage continues tomorrow on the ESPN family of networks. For more info, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Who put this guy here?
I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking.
Kyle Peterson, former Stanford great here at Sunken Diamond, which has been a beautiful setting for David Esker, David Pierce, and their teams going at it here this weekend.
Yeah, Eske was our assistant then. Wasn't that too far removed from playing. Left went down, took the head assistant job at Pepperdine, and the head man at Pepperdine, head man at Cal, and now in his 6th year, he's done great things with his program.
After 18 years, of course, as the head man, as you said, at Cal. We cruise into the second. LeBaron Johnson Jr. back to work. Facing 5, 6, and 7 for the Cardinal. Beginning with Alberto Rios, Pac-12 Player of the Year, and the left fielder. It's a ball and a strike from Johnson. Rios yesterday 1 for 4 with a walk in the first inning. Also doubled down the left field line in the 7th. He saw 26 pitches yesterday. 16 of them were off speed. Felt like a lot.
He can hit it a long ways. They're trying to trick him a lot of times when he goes up there, but that's what hitting 18 out and driving in 71 will do at the end of the year.
2-2. Rios, who in high school played some shortstop. He told us he was one of the best shortstops in Southern California. Moved to catcher here at Stanford and now in left field for him. That misses at a full count.
And it sounds like that's where he'll go in the draft. I think somebody will try to put him back behind the plate and see if the bat can continue to work. Because if you got a power hitting catcher like Rios, at least offensively, has shown the ability to do this year, that's a giant asset.
Rios takes. Johnson misses down. And back-to-back innings with a leadoff walk from Johnson. All right, it brings up Malcolm Moore, Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, the young and talented catcher who did this yesterday.
Number 15 off the bat of Malcolm Moore. He thought he got it. He had to start running a little bit faster. Wasn't quite sure. Just out of the reach of Eric Kennedy out in center field. One of 2 Stanford home runs yesterday.
That's what this offense has done throughout the season. Came into this weekend 11th in the country in runs per game and in home runs. We've got 115 home runs now, and you see Moore with a jack and 3 straight. Rios bluffed and comes back. Malcolm Moore drove in 4 for Stanford in game 1. He said post-game that we played with our backs against the wall before. They had to do it and win 3 straight elimination games last weekend in the regional here at Stanford. The Cardinal have done it a lot the last few years.
Historically, it's worked out okay. I mean, they did the same thing at regionals last year. Lost game 1 of the Supers last year to UConn, but has found a way to keep fighting back in elimination games.
How about this? These last couple years, pre-Omaha elimination games, perfect at 8-0.
I think if you ask David Esker, he'd still be okay not having to play as many elimination games. It's worked out all right.
Johnson will check over on Rios.
Rios 5 of 6 this year in stolen bases. Gilmet's thrown it pretty well. He's thrown out 15 of 39 base runners this year, and base runners are just 2 of 7 in stolen bases this year against LBJ.
Tip foul, 1-2. You know, watching all these pickoff attempts from LeBaron Johnson Jr. these first couple innings reminds us what David Pierce said the other day. When he got to Texas, he could not throw a pickoff to first base. And it's a reason why David Pierce told us this guy's maybe the best all-time player development story in the history of college baseball.
Absolutely. He didn't throw an inning his freshman year.
His 1-2 is down to Moore.
It didn't have a start until this year. Last year, every appearance that he made was out of the bullpen. First appearance this year was against Arkansas opening weekend, out of the bullpen. Since then, for the most part, he's been in a starting role. He has consistently each of the last 5 weeks.
2-2. Slice foul. David Pierce said to us that LBJ's been one of the most incredible sponges I've ever been around. And he said, if you tell him this is the way you got to do it, you better be right as a coach, because LeBaron is so literal. He will do exactly what you tell him. He has shined in the second half of this season, his 3rd year in Austin. Long hold, another 2-2. Moore rolls it up the middle, past the knob of Jacko down into center. The first 2 are on for Stanford here in the second.
Good at bat by the freshman right there. Used the middle of the field last night to drive it out to center. This time uses the middle of the field to get the first hit of the night for Stanford. 94-mile-an-hour sinker. Moore just stays right on it, just out of the reach of Jacko Dowd. If he gets this, because Moore doesn't run great, Texas got a chance to turn a double play, but instead just off O'Dowd's glove, and the Cardinal are the first 2 on here in the second.
So from one home run hitter yesterday to another for Stanford. And now the junior second baseman Drew Bowser in the 7th spot. Los Angeles native, who we showed you his home run earlier yesterday in the 6th inning. It went 432 feet. And that is what he is capable of.
Hanging slider, and he knew it right away. Bowser won a 6 in this Stanford offensive lineup that has double-digit home runs this year.
2-0 to him. That's a strike. It gave Stanford the lead at the time. We said in the 6th inning it was 3-2, put him in front.
Yeah, this one's a no-doubter, and Bowser's reaction shows you exactly that he felt the same way. Balk
called on Johnson, so it moves 2 into scoring position for Stanford.
LeBaron Johnson works really fast. I mean, when he gets out there, you can take the pitch clock and throw it away for both of these guys. See if he just rolls through the set position. Hands are right there. I think that's what it was. I mean, you slow it down, and it seems like he paused a little bit longer than he actually did. But that had to be the call right there. Jason Bradley, the second base umpire, made it. Nobody argued.
And so a big chance for Stanford to strike first here in game 2 in the second. 2-2 to Bowser. Cut on and missed. One away.
There's the slider again. Really everything that LeBaron Johnson Jr. throws, 90% of it is intended to be down in the zone. The 2-seamer has really good movement down, and then this slider right here. It's probably in a spot that Bowser could have done something with it, but it just shows you that pitch has enough movement to get it off the barrel. And strikeouts in each of the first 2 innings for LBJ.
Who now faces Seymour and Campbell, right fielder in the 8th spot. Squares and pulls back. Does that make Johnson different, that everything 90% you said is down in this day and age?
Yeah, I mean, I think from a hitting standpoint, philosophy has to be make sure you force it up, make sure it's up high enough, because most of the time his misses are going to be down and out of the zone.
Campbell squares again, jabbed at it and came up empty.
It's a safety right there. Roberto Rios, a runner on third base, is basically going as far as Peyton Powell, the third baseman, will allow him to. You're waiting to see if that ball's on the ground.
1-1. No sign of a square from Campbell. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Campbell's 11th start of the season. Sophomore from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Plays unafraid. He's got a lot of talent and tools. 2-1. There's the strike, 2-2. Johnson's ready. His 2-2. Campbell resists, and it's a full count.
I think everything in this at bat has been a slider. I guess 5 straight sliders.
.35 pitches already from Johnson. 3-2 on the way, and Campbell takes. Stanford's got him loaded here in the second with just 1 out. Woody Williams, the first-year Texas pitching coach, comes out for a visit with his talented right-handed starter. 23 pitches this inning and just the 1 out for LBJ.
Some of this is probably just approach, the way they want to go after Becerra. I don't think Stanford safeties with the bases loaded, because that play at home gets so much easier. It becomes a force play, but we could probably at least discuss it when you walk out. But also remind LeBaron Johnson Jr., man, your stuff's really good. You have to be too fine, especially at this part in the lineup.
This isn't dissimilar from his start last weekend in Coral Gables, where he ran into some early issues, and he was in a big spot early on in that game as well against Miami superstar third baseman Yohandy Morales. Johnson bared down, ended up, as we told you, going the distance, right around 130 pitches. Trouble here in the second. This is Timo Becerra. Takes strike 1. The shortstop making only his 8th start of the season. Sophomore in there for the veteran Owen Cobb, who's had some defensive issues here lately. Becerra had a double yesterday. Ball at a strike on it. One on the way. Becerra takes out the edge. Loaded up in the second, the 2-1. Sliced foul, 2-2.
So a little different approach. All sliders in the at-bat to Campbell. All fastballs so far in the at-bat to Timo Becerra.
It is basically a 2-pitch mix for LeBaron Johnson. His 2-2. Becerra pulls it in the air to left center field, and tracking Kennedy to make the catch. Deep enough to tag Alberto Rios, and Stanford has the lead on the Timo Becerra sac fly. So Cardinal on the board, but 2 outs for Johnson, and Malcolm Moore stayed at second as Johnson flips the lineup over back to the top for Eddie Park. Ran it full and walked to start this ball game. Strike 1 to start out Park. So a lot of fastballs to Becerra. Secondary stuff to start out Park now. 0-1. Park chops it up the middle, and Jacko Dowd gets rid of it. Not in time. Loaded again. Slow developing up the middle.
Just hit high enough on this one. Eddie Bark's got a chance to use his feet. He definitely beat that one out. No doubt he had a little bit of a trouble getting out of his glove, but at the end, Eddie Park able to beat it out. So Stanford's got him loaded again with 2 out for Tommy Troy.
Who is 1 for 9 this year with the bases loaded, with a grand slam being that 1 hit. And he just tried to demolish a baseball first pitch swinging. Garrett Gilmet staggers after he got clipped behind the plate.
We got him right in the knee. You got shin guards on, but that sometimes can get in between those pads a little bit and hit him square.
Oh, 1. Ball at a strike on Troy. It's like us up here in the booth. We've got a mini bat to just kind of jab at each other's kneecaps.
When needed. Yes.
And that's quite a lot. 1-1. Troy takes the strike, and Johnson has a 1-ball, 2-strike count, trying to escape here. Tommy Troy struck out his first time against Johnson on a slider. LBJ's 1-2. Troy pulls it in the air, left center field, and Kennedy runs it down. LeBaron Johnson leaves him loaded, but Stanford is on the board first and leads in this elimination game in Game 2 of this Super. In addition to being one of the best pitchers in the country, Stanford starter Quinn Mathews is a Stanford student and a senior. And look at his weekend. Last weekend, while the regionals were going on, he had a 29-page report that followed a presentation on this same topic for his class that we really don't know the name of without reading it.
MS&E 256, Technology Assessment and Regulation of Medical Devices. I didn't take that one,
no?
Just in case you're wondering. No, that was not on my class load.
You were a comms major, and Quinn Mathews is studying science, technology, and society. And his presentation and the ensuing report was on the internal brace procedure for the UCL, which is an alternative to Tommy John surgery. How cool is that?
Well, we asked him, okay, you know, what do you think? Like, would you advise it? He broke into, well, if it's this situation, depending on whether it's a full tear and how far it is, then this may affect it a little bit more. 29-pager up till 4 in the morning. I don't think I ever did that either.
He's facing Porter Brown here leading off the second. Texas now down a run. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, the report was due Monday night, but Quinn and his roommate were busy, so they turned it in at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and they said, hey, sorry, we were playing late last night. Professor said, no worries. Congrats on the win. Thanks for getting it in anyway.
Yeah, go get him this weekend.
It's what we call good feel from the professor. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Mathews against Porter Brown, one of the heroes for Texas yesterday. Roller to first, and it trickles foul. We talked about the changeup for Quinn Mathews back in the first. Part of the arsenal for the veteran lefty.
He has 4. He's not going to throw the curveball very much. It's primarily fastball, changeup, some sliders to righties, primarily fastball, slider, some changeups to lefties. The curveball, maybe 3rd time around the order if a guy's been up there for a long time, just to show him something different.
2-2 misses, and Brown now has been up there a while. It's full. Payoff. Brown pops it up behind short, and Timo Becerra circles for the first out here in the home half of the second. So brings up Eric Kennedy, 5th-year senior center fielder for Texas, who had a 2-run home run in the 5th inning in yesterday's game. You said both these pitchers work quickly.
Yeah.
Mathews is getting the ball, glaring over the top of his mitt, ready to go. Texas is trying to wait him out a little bit.
There's a 20-second pitch clock. That's what we have this year in college baseball. Quinn Mathews threw his first pitch of this at bat when the pitch clock said 18. 2 seconds had gone off.
Delivers here and misses away. With a minuscule 12 seconds left this time, he starts, delivers a slider for strike 2.
Saw a note today. Average game time of Super Regionals games this year as opposed to last year, down about 24 minutes.
Wow.
Pitch clock has made a huge difference.
What have you thought of it this year?
I think it's something that nobody really talks about, which is a good thing. I mean, if it hasn't been an imposition on people, but yet it's affecting the pace of the game the way that it is, it's a good thing.
2-2. Kennedy reaches out and flicks it into shallow center. Bowser sprints out. Sliding Park can't get there. And Kennedy's at second, dumping in a double into center field.
It's one of those where if you're on the mound off the bat, you're thinking, well, that's an out because of what the swing is and where it was. But watch how deep Eddie Park is playing out in center field. I mean, so far back, so you get infield playing pretty much normal depth. Seymour Campbell was playing deep out in right field, and it just is hit to a spot that absolutely nobody can get to. It's going to show as a double. If Eddie Park's playing, I would say, normal range out in center field, he gets there easily. Instead, because of the power of Kennedy, they got to play back, and it's a double.
A guy with 17 home runs this year after that 2-run shot yesterday. So Kennedy's in scoring position with one out here in the second. And now the highly touted freshman DH from San Antonio, Jalen Flores. 1 for 2 with a single yesterday. Also had a 9-pitch walk in the 7th. Got hit by a pitch as well. He looked pretty comfortable at the plate. His big name, his head coach David Pierce told us he turned down a lot of money to play college baseball. He will be draft eligible as a sophomore based on his age. Mathews 1-1. Flores out ahead of the changeup.
Here it comes again. You see that swing, and I think you got to go back to back and force the freshman to make some kind of an adjustment, because he was not comfortable with the changeup right there. And Quinn Mathews is very comfortable with the pitch so far. Yeah, Flores draft eligible as a sophomore. So is Malcolm Moore.
Yeah.
Next year.
Going to be relatively short stays for those guys in Austin and Stanford, respectively. Texas trying to tinker with the Mathews timing here. Is 1-2. Ties up Flores. Third K for Quinn Mathews to the back foot. 2 gone.
Came back with a slider. And for Mathews, more times than not against right-handed hitters, you can see the changeup more than the slider, but just got to swing and miss on the changeup. Then he puts his slider exactly where he wanted to. Like he said, Mr. Monaco trying to wrap it around that back foot. That back foot even moved out of the way right there. Flores swung right over the top. Third strikeout of the night for Quinn Mathews.
And 2 down here. Now to the Texas 8-hitter, the second baseman, Jack O'Dowd. He worked one of those 9th-inning walks yesterday. Final one before Ryan Bruno got lifted from the ballgame in the Stanford pen. It was a patient approach for Texas. We told you they saw 26 pitches from Ryan Bruno. They swung once. Led to a 5-run inning in game 1. Lifted toward left down the line, and Alberto Rios runs out of room. David Esker said after the game about Ryan Bruno, he's done a great job for us all year, so we're willing to go down with our guys. You tell me I got a 3-run lead in the 9th with my closer.
Yeah.
I'll take that 100 times out of 100, and he said we'd probably win 98 of them. Two outs, Kennedy at second, the 0-2. Up and away. Mathews is ready. A 1-2. O'Dowd stays alive. It's been a 20-pitch second inning for Quinn Mathews. Here in this must-win for his Stanford team. 1-2 again. Check swing and no swing. And Jacko down. It's 2-2.
Pretty breaking ball heaviness at bat. First pitch of the bat was a curveball. I think it's the first one that Mathews has thrown, and then the rest have been sliders.
It's 23% slider, only 4% curveball this year for Quinn Mathews.
Interesting right there. That little spin move to second base was just because there was 4 seconds on the pitch clock. He had to reset it, and Quinn Mathews had the presence of mind to understand that. He's got the presence of mind to throw that one. That was the changeup.
Comes back with it to strike out Jacko Dowd. Back-to-back Ks in the second. Stanford leads to the third. The NBA Finals head back to Denver for Game 5 tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Radio. With the Joker and the Nuggets leading the series 3-1, looking for their first title. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7:30 on ESPN. Continues at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific over on ABC. Got some hoodies out on the burn.
Some of us.
Where's yours?
Some of us forgot it in the hotel room. Not like I lived here or anything at one point.
Do you have any extra layer beyond your golf shirt that's on?
In my possession?
With you right here?
No. No. And I'm drinking a Diet Coke with ice in it to make it even worse. I mean, it's the level of stupidity is going north really quick.
Flip-flops or Stan Smiths?
No, yeah, I got Stans on today.
Okay. At least the feet are warm. Here's Carter Graham. Pops up a 1-1 behind home plate. Fading back toward the railing. And into the seats. Look out in the first row. Well-populated seats once again here at Sunken Diamond. Good Stanford contingent. Boy, there was a lot of orange here yesterday as well.
Yeah. And some grills out in the parking lot. Sellout yesterday. I didn't see if it was a sellout today, but I'd be surprised if it was not.
2-2 from LeBaron Johnson. Tailgaters were out early as well yesterday when we pulled into the parking lot. Two. Graham lines it through second into right center field. Carter Graham stings one to lead off the third. And Stanford has the leadoff man on for a third straight inning.
Watch your top half right here. Watch Carter Graham's top half. And that torso go down to get this low fastball. I mean, this is textbook right here. Just stay right on it. He's not trying to pull it because you're not going to pull that one. The nose stays on it. Torso goes down to meet it. Drives that thing into right center field. Stanford's had the leadoff man on each of the first 3 innings now.
Got to be frustrating for a pitcher when a guy can stay on that pitch that well and do that in a 2-strike count.
Because that was a good fastball. It was down. It was over the outside part of the plate. Carter Graham's just he's a good hitter.
Well, it's Braden Montgomery, cleanup man, who grounded out to second his first time, and a sword there ties him up to make it 1-1 from Johnson.
Your use of sword is impressive. You mixed one in last night. That, of course, a nod to the incomparable pitching ninja.
You don't want to insult a hitter, but you do want to shine the spotlight on a good pitch from a pitcher. Rob Friedman, one of the best.
Oh yeah, he's phenomenal.
A social media maven. 2-1 the count on Braden Montgomery. Down from Johnson, 3-1. Pitch count at 50+ for LeBaron Johnson. 3-1. Misses. Fourth walk already from Johnson. First two on for Stanford in the third. Toughman, thank you very much. We welcome you from Baton Rouge out west to Sunken Diamond in Stanford, California for game 2 of this Super. Texas stunned Stanford in game 1 with 5 runs in the 9th inning yesterday. Stanford's got a 1-0 lead on Texas, and its starting pitcher LeBaron Johnson Jr. here in the third. Alongside Kyle Peterson, I'm Mike Monaco. We have punched another couple of tickets to the Men's College World Series.
Fighting Tigers heading back, and welcome back Oral Roberts. Second time in the history of that program that they head to Omaha. So we got 6 of the 8 that have already punched their tickets to Omaha just this series, and Tennessee and Southern Miss will play game 3 tomorrow.
And we play game 2 here. We'll see if we need a game 3 tomorrow. This is Alberto Rios at the plate for Stanford here in the third. After the first 2 reached, heart of the lineup, second time through for these Stanford bats, who boast one of the best offenses in the country, and facing LeBaron Johnson Jr. coming off a complete game gem last weekend in the Coral Gables Regional, where he threw, depending on who you listen to, 129 or 130 pitches, and he's been rolling in the second half of the season.
The kid just has gotten better every week, and when you watch him, I think one of the interesting things, obviously there's runners on base here, but every pitch that he will throw is out of the stretch. He's just tried to simplify approach to home plate.
With dancing at second is 1-2 to Rios, who stays alive. Texas won a wild one yesterday. If you missed it in game 1, we told you 5 runs in the 9th. Entered the 9th down by 3. Only got 1 hit to put up those 5. This is hammered by Rios to left. Back to the wall and room to make the catch for Porter Brown. There were a couple yesterday that looked like they might leave and didn't, and this is the second one early on today.
So this is the way this place used to play, especially when you play at night. Gets a little bit later, ball's not going to fly quite as much. What win there is keeping this one at the ballpark off the bat. I think everybody thought it was gone, especially with the year that Rios has had. But Porter Brown had just enough room, a few steps in front of that left field wall to keep it a 1-run game.
Breezing here at Sunken Diamond. Well, we're up to 12. You had it at 4.
Yeah, ish. I said 4-ish.
Okay.
Which it can be 12. I mean, that's enough.
So your plus or minus is 8?
Yeah.
It's a sizable margin for error. Malcolm Moore hits it hard to first. Thomas goes to second, and Daly didn't have a throw. Checks on Graham at third. Malcolm Moore hit it hard, the talented freshman catcher, but right at Jared Thomas. And now there's 2 outs.
That's a good decision by Mitchell Daly at short, because you may have had a chance to get the double play, but you'd have had to hit LeBaron Johnson in stride going to first base. You got to hit him in stride, then he's going to find a bag right away, and there's a much better chance that ball probably gets away. Instead, pump fake, look to third. Maybe in that case you get Graham too far off. They just about did.
Graham able to get back. He's at third. Moore's at first. In a 1-0 game, Stanford in front. Now they're 7-hitter to the second baseman, Drew Bowser. Slices one foul. Power hitting junior second baseman from Los Angeles, who yesterday had a 432-foot home run. Johnson deals. Ball at a strikeout, Bowser. Here comes the 1-1. Bowser pulls it toward left, and Porter Brown's right there. Inning over for the guy they call LBJ. He leaves 2. He has left 6 through his first 3 innings here in game 2 of this Super Regional. Stanford starter Quinn Mathews was the Pac-12 pitcher of the year. He's punched out 4 in 2 innings.
Now is second in the country in strikeouts. Trails only Paul Skeens. He's got the good stuff tonight. Punched out 2 in the first, punched out 2 more in the second. Changeup has been outstanding. He's flashed the slider. Fastball up to 92. This is your reigning Pac-12 pitcher of the year, and he looks apart so far.
Pitching in game 2 for Stanford because he pitched twice last weekend in the regionals. Threw a ton of pitches. Started, went 7 in the regional opener on Friday, and then came back 3 days later on Monday and threw 60+ innings, or 60+ pitches of 4 shutout innings in relief. He's ahead of Mitch Daly, the 9-hole shortstop for Texas. 0-2 here in the last of the 3rd. 0-2. Back foot slider. So second in strikeouts behind the LSU star. And Paul Skeens will be in Omaha. And Mathews has thrown the most innings in the country coming into Super Regionals this weekend. He is a senior. He got drafted, as you said earlier, by the Rays last summer in the 19th round, but chose to come back to Palo Alto. Overhand wide, 2-2. Full count. Three-2. Line toward right center field by Daly, who plugs the gap. Campbell does a nice job to cut that off and keep Mitch Daly to just the leadoff single.
I mean, from this vantage point off the bat, that looked like it was going to get to the wall. That was hit well into right center, and Saborn Campbell, who had one go off his glove last night in the big spot, cuts it off. But a good approach by Mitchell Daly. Thinks he's getting a fastball, and he does. 3-2 fastball on the outside part of the plate. Campbell cuts it off and keeps him at first, but that'll turn the Texas lineup over, and they've got the leadoff man on here in the 3rd.
That's Jared Thomas, freshman first baseman, who grounded out to first his first time. Second time through, and the first pitch is pulled into right field by Thomas into the right field corner. Daly motors to 3rd and gets waved around. This game is tied on an RBI triple from the freshman Jared Thomas. We got a stanky leg sighting at Stanford.
Watch where Saborn Campbell starts, and this is important in this. He was really pushed over to the right center field gap. I mean, he was lined up with that 375 sign. Now, the freshman Thomas puts a good swing on it, but Campbell has to go so far for this ball that there's no chance he's going to throw the base runner out at home, or ultimately Thomas, who has good speed. For the freshman, you knew the mind was right for the freshman when he tried the hidden ball trick in the first inning. Like, he's pretty loose out there. Now he's got himself an RBI triple.
Jared Thomas delivers. Now Peyton Powell. Yeah, if you weren't with us earlier, Jared Thomas, who plays first base for Texas, on a pickoff attempt sent his way. He bluffed as if the throw got by him, sprinted off to try to retrieve a ball that was already in his glove. Confidence, like you said. Powell singled to the backside his first time and takes a strike. Mathews ahead 0-2. Powell, the 4th-year junior from Robinson, Texas, second-team all-conference in the Big 12, who's had a breakout season. First 3 years, started only 6 games and had a total of 9 hits. Swings through it from Mathews. That changeup, if you're just joining us, is sick from Quinn Mathews.
Well, the stuff is good today. That's already 10 swings and misses against Quinn Mathews. On the evening, we've seen it a few times. He's gone left on left with a changeup, and that has been his best pitch. Plus count right there, something that's down and out of the zone. Peyton Powell couldn't hold up. Jared Thomas still standing at third base with 1 out, but now one of the best hitters in the country coming up.
And the uber-talented superstar right fielder Dylan Campbell, who goes first pitch swinging and lofts this to left at Alberto Rios. Thomas tags and scores. Texas leads here in the 3rd. Campbell's 38-game hitting streak, a Texas and Big 12 record, came to a close yesterday. He gets right to work his second time today, giving them the lead. Now Garrett Gilmet, the cleanup man, the catcher and USC transfer. Struck out swinging on a changeup like Campbell did his first time against Mathews. Ball and a strike. Two and one, the count on Gilmet. Stanford throwing its ace in a must-win game 2. But Texas now has the lead. Tommy Troy cuts it off and ends the inning, but the Longhorns surge in front here in the 3rd. Jared Thomas tied it and then scores to give the Horns the lead. You're watching the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Quinn Mathews knows this could be the last time pitching collegiately for Stanford, so after giving up 2 in the 3rd, he was frustrated.
I've done this once or 100 times in that dugout. Years past, it's all right. Get it out, get it over with, get it done, go back to work.
The cerebral and very focused Quinn Mathews.
He was fun to talk to.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, understood his craft. The most impressive thing that he told us when we asked him about the draft and coming back, he said at the end of the day, they didn't think I was quite as good as maybe I thought I was. I wasn't good enough yet. Very honest assessment of what it was last year. He's had a lot of growth this year.
LeBaron Johnson Jr. works for Texas and starts out with the ball 1 to Saborn Campbell.
By the way, did you see Blake Burke's home run today? Did you see that?
I saw all 479 feet of it.
Yeah, 114 off the bat. It one hopped into the offering plate in the church out beyond right field. I mean, it was, that ball was pulverized.
Was it melted?
That would qualify as melted.
Okay. From the Tennessee slugger, hulking, who was celebrating a birthday as well.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why Tennessee forced a game 3 after Southern Miss took game 1, which finished up earlier before that one. Campbell bounces this up the middle, and Mitch Daly throws him out. And one away for LeBaron Johnson, now pitching with the lead. So we've got 6 teams decided. You've got Wake, the #1 overall seed. You've got Florida, the #2 overall seed. LSU, who stormed past Kentucky with what, 22 runs in a couple of games.
Yeah, so you get 3 of the top 5 national seeds that have already advanced. Oral Roberts, the 4 seed.
Timo Becerra fouls off the first one out of the 9th spot.
We got 4 seeds that have got there. Obviously, Fresno won it. Stony Brook. Oral Roberts, is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
In this format since 1999. And for Oral Roberts, you mentioned they have been there before. The only time was 1978. They're out of the Summit League, which was formed in 1982. And this is the first time the Summit League has sent a team to the Men's College World Series with just the 3rd, as you remembered, regional 4 seed to get through since '99. That is impressive. And they had to go into a rocking environment at Oregon.
Yeah. And come back to walk them off last night and then hold on today.
1-2 to Becerra. Is down from Johnson. So you got Cinderella, and then you got all kinds of star power.
Yes.
That are going to be in Omaha.
Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, Cruz, Skeens, Wyatt Langford from Florida, who's going to be a top 5 overall pick. Take your pick from Wake Forest. That is going to count.
Fair ball from Becerra down the line, past Powell into the corner. And Timo Becerra out of the 9th spot, getting some starts for Owen Cobb. Doubles for the 2nd straight day. 2
productive at-bats for Becerra today. It was a sac fly his first time up. This time double just inside the line that Peyton Powell can't get to down at 3rd base. Becerra out of the 9-hole. A 9-hole hitter in .318 and an OPS close to 900. That's not a bad little 9-hole hitter right there for Timo Becerra. Keeps it just inside the line. It's a 1-out double for the Cardinal here in the 4th.
And now back to the top for Stanford's leadoff man, Eddie Park, who's reached twice. Walked in the first, infield single in the second. It takes ball one from LeBaron Johnson Jr., who's up at 76 pitches now, with just one out in this fourth. Remember, he went about 130 in the Miami Heat last weekend. David Pierce, his head coach, said afterward, he's a T-bird. He is built that way, and a thoroughbred on the bump. Boy, did he deliver. The 1-1 is down. Gilmet blocks it. Talked about how much we enjoyed chatting with Stanford starter Quinn Mathews. How about on the Texas side as well? We were talking with Texas's right fielder Dylan Campbell, who shared with us the conversation he had with LeBaron Johnson Jr. last week. At practice in the lead up to the regionals, LeBaron Johnson told Dylan Campbell, all I need is 2 runs from you guys and I'll be good. On the ground towards short, and Becerra runs into an out. 2 away.
That's good heads up by Mitchell Daly, but it's just a base running mistake by Becerra right there. But if it's at you or to your right, you got to wait to your left and you go every time. But this one is dead at him. Watch where he starts. Well, he's got the shortstop right behind him. So, Mitchell Daly playing right behind him. This one just about goes right between the wickets, but then plenty of time for Daly to make that easy throw. Peyton Powell to get the tag down, and Becerra's erased from scoring position.
So 2 down man at first now for the dangerous, likely first rounder Tommy Troy, who goes first pitch swinging and slices one toward right center field and runs it all the way to the wall. Eddie Park comes around from first. The throw, not in time. Tied at 2.
Just felt like he was going to heat up at some point. Tommy Troy was hitless last night. Hitless his first 2 at bats. He got a first pitch fastball and smoked it to right center right here. Eddie Park reaches on the fielder's choice. There is no decision right here. Steve Rodriguez got the right arm going the entire time. Park around third with the solo oven mitt slides in, and Stanford ties it here in the fourth.
First pitch hunting from Tommy Troy, one of the best hitters in the country. And this game is tied here in the fourth. And another visit to the mound from Texas pitching coach Woody Williams. Well, Stanford the last couple of years has faced a ton of elimination games. They've been great. Tommy Troy in those games and in all games in the NCAA tournament, he's been vicious.
Yeah, 500 usually works pretty well if you're playing baseball. If you're a hitter, this is the last 2 years. I think there's a lot that they would look at that lineup and say we'd like him up, but Tommy Troy may be at the top of that list.
This team in regionals and super regionals the last 2 seasons in elimination games, 8-0 the record for Stanford. They've tied it here in the fourth, and their backs against the wall. Now Carter Graham, first baseman in the 3 spot. Popped down foul ground to third his first time, then singled to right center in the third. Stanford has stranded 6 already the first 3 innings. LeBaron Johnson's been comfortable pitching with foot traffic, and he's ahead of Graham 0-2. It's 0-2. Graham strikes out. Another slider from LBJ to leave Tommy Troy at second. This game is tied at 2. Troy ties it here in the fourth. Tuesday, we'll have the final 2 parts of the 4-part 30 for 30, The Luckiest Guy in the World. The film continues the unprecedented look into the life of the Hall of Famer, Bill Walton. All starts at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific over on ESPN. If you missed parts 1 and 2 last Tuesday, you can watch them anytime on ESPN. Plus, a noted lover of nature. Would love this scene here outside of Sunken Diamond. Mike Monaco, Kyle Peterson, our entire crew with you at this beautiful venue. Game 2 of this Super Regional. Porter Brown leads off out of the 5 spot for Texas, one of the heroes yesterday, with the go-ahead 2-run knock in the 9th that gave Texas its first lead. They hung on to win. Brown swings through it. We enjoyed chatting with Porter after the ball game. He is super smart. His plan B is a medical career, perhaps a doctor or a surgeon of some kind. He's got a bright baseball future as well. Strikes out looking. Quinn Mathews to the off speed for his 6th K. What a way to begin the bottom of the 4th.
Back-to-back sliders right there, and it looked like Porter Brown recognized this one too. He just thought that it was going to be off the plate because it looked like velocity or spin really surprised him. I think he was taking it based on location. Plate's a little bit bigger tonight than it was last night. Last night it was tight. I would say more like a major league zone. This one's got a little bit more give on the outside, which I think is totally fine.
Mathews utilizing that. Now Eric Kennedy takes a slider for strike 1. Speedy and powerful center fielder blooped a double, and the setter's first out in the 2nd. 2-run home run yesterday. Ball and a strike from Mathews. Eric Kennedy talked with the media postgame. He said, we've been playing with that chip on our shoulder going back since before this season even started. He said no one gave us a shot, and last week in Miami in the regionals no one picked us. He said even this weekend everyone thought Stanford would cakewalk through it. So we played with the chip on our shoulder all season long.
They may be making that up a little bit.
Rolls it up the middle and reaches here. You're saying the picks on D1 baseball weren't 100%.
No, it didn't appear to be. I don't think anybody thought that Stanford was cakewalking through Texas. That's for sure. This is a Texas team with a bunch of history, and they've been better as the year has gone on. This is how Texas got on the board. It was a Mitchell Daly single to start the inning. Then Jared Thomas, the freshman, came up hunting a fastball, triple to right field, and then he would score on the Dylan Campbell sack. Those the 2 Texas runs so far.
And you got speed aboard for David Pierce, the head coach of the Horns. His offense here in the 4th. Jalen Flores, the freshman DH, struck out his first time. We will chat with David Pierce coming up here shortly in the next half inning. Maybe not a cakewalk, what David Pierce thought that the prognosticators were thinking, but he did tell us that the only people that thought his Texas team would win last weekend were the guys on his team. He has also felt some of that underdog mentality that is almost an oxymoron to say with this Texas program.
Yeah.
You said that has a ton of history, that has been to Omaha in the College World Series more than any other program by a lot.
All right. I mean, I think you use it however you can in a situation like that. If you can play the underdog role, which you really don't get the opportunity to very often at Texas, why not use it?
They've been unranked more than they've been ranked this season. They were unranked in the preseason as well, in contrast to last year when they were the preseason #1. Went to Omaha last year, the year before as well, and now 1 win away from a 3rd straight trip. 0-1. Kennedy not going, and Flores down 0-2. Texas, more years in Omaha than years they have not reached the College World Series. Another check on Kennedy. Eight bags for Eric Kennedy here in his 5th-year senior season. Oh, 2. Flores strikes out. 7 Ks now for Quinn Mathews. You said it after last inning. He's got the good stuff today.
He's got the good stuff, and the changeup is one of the biggest parts of it. Not exactly where he wanted to throw it right here. Probably missed his spot. I don't think you're going to throw an inside changeup 0-2, and you can see where Carter Graham is setting up. He is away, has to come all the way back in, but it looked like that caught enough of the plate. Velocity difference fooled Flores right there. He couldn't pull the trigger. The freshman struck out twice tonight.
So 2 outs for Quinn Mathews in the 4th. And to the 8th spot in the Texas lineup for the second baseman, Jack O'Dowd. Struck out on a changeup his first time to end the second. Fouled off. 15 out of 17 first pitch strikes for Quinn Mathews. A Golden Spikes Award semifinalist. And as we told you, the Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year. Long look at Kennedy, 0-1. And it's 0-2 on O'Dowd. Two outside. It's a very ambitious moan from the Stanford crowd.
Oh, it was out.
Quick throw over on Kennedy, who had to lunge back after just trying to widen his lead.
He's got a few moves. I mean, he has that read move where the front leg will come up and he's reading whether or not the base runner's going. Then that one was just a step off, get it over there as quick as you can.
1-2. What do you think about the stirrups, by the way?
I think it's glorious. I mean, you haven't seen real stirrups and, you know, really, and they're real stirrups. I mean, these are not like the socks that it's sewn into the side. That's, I mean, look, you can see them moving. They're like bouncing. So they have to be real. Big fan.
Au natural.
Yeah.
When was the last time you wore stirrups?
I wear them every Sunday, usually. I didn't today, just because I thought it'd look a little bit weird going to the ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't get away from it.
With the flip-flops.
Yeah.
Be out. Stirrups all over the place. Quinn Mathews told us it started with Carter Graham, the first baseman. Made the initial call on that. 1-2's count out and miss. Fastball up the ladder. 3 Ks in the inning for Quinn Mathews. David Pierce said his Texas team 1 win away. He's with us when we come back to Stanford, California. Texas head coach David Pierce is with us here at Stanford. Coach, for fans who don't know LeBaron Johnson Jr. and his development, what's it been like?
Unbelievable. This is a guy who came in, and all he's done is just paid attention. He's like a sponge. He just, whatever you tell him, you better be right, because he's going to try to do it. And he works hard. He's got a great arm. He's got a great body, great teammate.
What do you say to your guys after a game last night?
Today we got to play 1 pitch at a time. We're playing the game today. We're not worried about anything else.
David, thanks a lot. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, appreciate you guys.
David Pierce, 7th year. He's been to 4 supers in his 6 full years at the helm in Austin. It was a wild one last night in game 1. Braden Montgomery leads off for Stanford in the 5th against LeBaron Johnson in a 2-2 game 2. A walk last time for Montgomery. Takes down 2-0. Texas threw its ace, Big 12 pitcher of the year, Lucas Gordon, yesterday. And now Johnson today. Montgomery skies this one to left. Porter Brown ranges over toward his Horns bullpen. 2-1. just winding down for the night. Didn't follow game 1 of this Super. Teams trailing by 3+ runs. Entering the 9th. We're 0 for 74 in this year's NCAA tournament before yesterday. Texas did it. They got the win in comeback fashion. Now deadlocked at 2 here. Another leadoff base runner for Stanford. Montgomery stings one to left.
That's 4 of the first 5 innings. Stanford's had the leadoff man on. Like the approach from Montgomery right there too. Let that 2-seamer travel. He had fouled one down the left field line, and that time just shot it in front of Porter Brown out in left field.
Two-way talent, the sophomore from Mississippi, is on for the 2nd time in this game in front of Alberto Rios. Pac-12 Player of the Year. Walked to lead off the 2nd, one of those leadoff base runners against Johnson. Scored that inning. Montgomery was off with the pitch. We've talked about the breakthrough season from out of nowhere for Alberto Rios, and you said earlier how his future is perhaps and maybe likely at catcher behind the plate, even though he's playing left for Stanford. He still catches a ton of bullpens.
Yeah, that's what I loved. And he enjoys it. He just goes down and does it because he wants to, not because they're making him do it all the time. It's smart too. I mean, I haven't heard all of the pro projections on him from a positional standpoint, but I think you make him kind of play his way from behind the plate and see what that looks like first.
Staring down at 0-2 from LeBaron Jackson, and strikes out. 4th K for LBJ. Goes to the slider for the first down.
That thing is good. I mean, he really gets over the top of it. So you got 2-seamer. It's going to live at the bottom part of the zone, and then this thing. I mean, that's an 87, 88 mile-an-hour slider that has almost 0 horizontal. I mean, it is straight top to bottom, and it is hard.
That's what you're talking about, right? When you said that everything's kind of down in the zone, because he's got a splitter too. I don't even know if he's thrown it once tonight, but everything works down in the zone.
Yep. Intentionally, if he's up in the zone, it's probably an accident.
From that kind of angle, it's tough at 6'4" with the long levers. This is Malcolm Moore. Singled in the 2nd his first time. Freshman catcher for Stanford. Remember David Pierce in Omaha last year told us about LeBaron Johnson. He's got hands that hang past his knees, and he's filthy. He's been up to 99 in the past. There's a time when former Texas assistant coach Troy Tulowitzki was standing behind the plate watching LeBaron Johnson. And Troy Tulowitzki said, in my prime, I couldn't hit that.
It's interesting from a professional standpoint. He's draft eligible this year, but we said didn't throw an inning his freshman year. So really, from a pro standpoint, you've got 2 years to take a look. But you can really dream on a lot of things. I mean, you've got a real fastball that plays up. You've got a real swing and miss slider.
There's 1-0 to Moore. Cut on and missed.
Kylie McDaniel's got him 3rd, 4th round right now, but I think the other thing will be when he gets into pro ball, you probably got to figure out, he's got to throw the split more, figure out how to throw a changeup. You got to have something other than a slider, I would think, to stick as a starter long term.
For the season, it's been 3% splitter usage. That's it. One. Moore bounces it foul. And the pitch count north of 90 for LBJ. He's kind of wedged his way into the power ranking of LBJs in recent weeks. LeBron, Lyndon B, and the LeBaron. Good pick over there by Jared Thomas. Travis Staley in the pen. He's pitched a lot for the Horns this season, ready and waiting. 2-2 on Malcolm Moore. Moore's been perhaps the best Stanford bat these 2 days here at the Super Regionals. Drove in 4 yesterday in game 1. Johnson's 2-2, runner goes, and Moore stays alive with Montgomery on the move. Malcolm Moore was ranked the best catcher in the country in his class. He's played that way here as a rookie. Waiting out at 2-2.
Garrett Gilmette's getting beat up back there tonight. He took a foul ball in the knee. That one took a foul ball. It looked like in his throwing hand. Where's this one get him? And the hand's kind of hanging out a little bit further than you would want. Oh no, I got him on the elbow of his glove hand, it looked like.
And this is a dude who's been battered now in consecutive weekends, not just today. Got hit by a pitch off the C-flap of his helmet in the batter's box last weekend at Miami. Stayed in the game. Actually got up and wanted a piece of the opposing pitcher.
That doesn't feel too good.
Another 2-2. Moore lines it to left, slicing away from Brown and into the corner. Montgomery was on the move, coming around all the way from first, and Malcolm Moore gives Stanford the lead.
All right, so the approach by Malcolm Moore is outstanding, but I love what Braden Montgomery does right here. He's often moving on the pitch, okay? But watch this. Everything is out in front of him, and he barely puts on the brakes. I mean, so often guys will stop right there. He didn't. Accelerated around second base. The minute that happened, I mean, you're playing to Porter Brown's not going to get to that ball. If he does, you're doubled up, the inning's over. But Porter Brown wasn't going to get to that ball. Great read by Montgomery. Freshman drives in another one, and that may drive LeBaron Johnson out of this ball game.
It's great feel from a base runner,
yes,
right? To not freeze and get concerned on what to do, to have the sense that he can just tap the brakes.
And it's helpful when it's in front of you. I mean, everything was in front of Montgomery right there. He could see the route. He could see that the ball was cutting.
And it will chase LeBaron Johnson as Stanford activates. And they're feeling good with the lead now here in the 5th inning, facing elimination in game 2 of this best-of-3 Super Regional. You're watching the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. 3 runs so far touched up on LeBaron Johnson. And Stanford now leading, and Johnson out of the game after 4 1/3, 7 hits, and Travis Staley takes over here in the 5th.
Stanford had a really good approach against LBJ today. Trying to force the ball up, 7 hits in 4 1/3. They waited him out. He walked 2 in that first inning. So Texas will give way to the bullpen. Travis Staley comes on for the 15th time. 10 have been starts. So he's a little bit more used this year to coming out to start the game as opposed to coming in with traffic on the base pass.
He's facing Drew Bowser in the 7th spot for Stanford after the RBI double from Malcolm Moore. Yeah, Staley is 3rd on this Texas staff in innings pitched this season. 5.68 ERA. He was their number 3 starter to begin the year. Didn't pitch at all in regional, so he last pitched a couple of weeks ago in the Big 12 tournament. against Kansas. 4 innings of 4-run ball in that outing for Staley, giving some length. To 1. Bowser pulls it on a line to left and gone. His second home run in as many days.
That ball was touched. How about just shy of 114 off the bat? 393 only because of that top spin on it. Aside from that, it's going to fly over the not pine trees out in left field, deep into the Palo Alto night. He got another slider. And this is what Bowser hit out yesterday. Slider that hangs just long enough. Hammers it out to left field. Tacks on 2 more. It's a 3-run fifth for Stanford. Now a 3-run lead.
So 432 majestic yesterday, 114 on a clothesline today. Ball at a strikeout, Saborn Campbell. Live Oak.
Live Oaks.
Campbell trickles it foul, 1-2. There they are. These are not pine trees.
There's a lot of them out there, too. A little bit bigger than they were when I was here.
Bouncing ball up the middle, past Staley, and it rolls into center. Saborn Campbell singles, and 4 of the 5 Stanford bats in the 5th have knocks. Boy, you think about Stanford and the way they lost last night. Question was, how would they respond? They've been in so many of these elimination games the last few years.
I think they would have been uncomfortable if they won. I mean, given recent history.
David Esker, Cardinal head coach, out for conversation with Timo Becerra, shortstop in the 9th spot. How much of the identity and that comfort in spots like this do you think comes from the head coach?
A ton. I mean, you want to talk about a consistent heartbeat, consistent approach. They don't come a lot more consistent than that guy that's walking away on the left. He's always been that way. You know, there is plenty of fire there, and he will show it. But there's also the understanding, kind of when you got to hug a guy and when you got to light him up. It's a great combination of both.
3rd time in 6 years he's been Pac-12 Coach of the Year this season.
Stanford won the league by 5 games.
Rolled right through the Pac-12. Back-to-back conference regular season titles. This is hit hard, and Thomas stabs it. Daly back to first. They don't double up Becerra. Boy, Jared Thomas has been impressive.
If you got a right-handed first baseman, you probably didn't make this play. I mean, there are some plays that are just so much easier for a left-handed first baseman, and when you're holding the base runner on, which in this case Thomas was, comes off and it goes glove side, and it's still a heck of a play. So comes off right-hand, there's no chance you get to this ball. Left-hander, you got a chance to turn 2. But this one, kind of like before, pitcher's got to get over there in time. Staley was thrown just a little bit off, but you'll take the 1 out on a ball that was hit really hard.
And now the lineup turns over to Eddie Park. It's been a while since Texas has had a full-time lefty first baseman. David Pierce has said he loves having one over there defensively. Park walked in the first, infield single in the second. Reached on to fielder's choice last time in the 4th. This one goes off the glove of Gilmet, and Timo Becerra moves into scoring position on on perhaps a cross-up?
I don't know, or if he just missed it right here. I don't know if he was trying to bring it back in, because you're not even really going to frame this ball. I thought it was far enough out of the zone that you're not going to try to steal one anyway. I think he just closed his glove too early and just flat missed it. Now it went off the outside of his glove. May had a little bit of movement at the end he wasn't anticipating, but instead it should be a pass ball. And now Becerra standing at second base with 2 outs.
There was one of those earlier as well that kicked away from Gilmet. Well, it's 2-0 now on Eddie Park. Travis Staley deals. That misses up in the zone. Eddie Park, always patient. There's a strike. Grabs the outside edge. Final tally yesterday, Eddie Park saw 24 pitches. He had a 10-pitch walk in the 6th. Grounds this one to second. O'Dowd bounces to his right and ends the inning. Well, David Esker and his Stanford team, they've been in spots like this. They've now got a 3-run lead after Drew Bowser mashed one on a line to left halfway through after this big fly from Drew Bowser.
Second day in a row, Drew Bowser's got a slider he can handle. Second day in a row, he's hit it in the trees. 3 runs in the 5th for Stanford. We'll talk to their head coach, David Esker, when we come back.
Game 2 of this Super Regional between Texas and Stanford, and Cardinal head coach David Esker is kind enough to join us here. Coach, your message yesterday after Game 1 and coming into Game 2 today was what?
Well, last night I sent him a gif of a toilet flushing. Hopefully I said a ceremonial flushing of tonight, and then you know what? I told him it's too daunting to try to win 2 games. We're not going to win 2 games at once, or we're not going to get that game back that we let get away from us. So, hey, we got to win 1 game 2 times. That's all we can focus on, and we'll give it our best shot. Really, really great Texas team here. This pretty evenly matched, and you know, any little crack is gonna make a difference.
What were the responses like to that text message?
I got a few hearts and a couple let's see, exclamation points and a couple ha-has. So
it's always good. You don't get a lot of hearts when you send toilets very often. That's impressive.
Yeah, it was a first for me too.
Coach, thanks for the plumbing. We'll let you go.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Well, that didn't disappoint.
No. Nice job.
We promised that that's kind of the way he always is.
Yeah, he is, and it's healthy, you know. I mean, you can't change anything. It happened. Flush it. I'm trying to think of who used to. Fullerton used to have a little toilet in their dugout for the exact same thing. It was like a little mini toilet right on top of where the bat rack was. I'm not making this up. And that was the idea. Like, you go in and you flush whatever just happened. It was just rare that you walk past somebody's dugout and there's a little toilet right there.
Was it mobile? Like, could you bring it with you?
Oh, it traveled.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not just a home thing.
No, I mean, it wasn't operational, but it was just there more as a prop.
Mitchell Daly strikes out against Quinn Mathews to start the bottom of the 5th, 1 away. That's incredible.
Ken Revisit was the one that did that. Remember Ken Revisit? He probably predates you a little bit age-wise. Sports psychologist, was awesome. I think Augie used him when he was at Fullerton, but I know Ken worked with Fullerton for a long time. But he was the guy that had the little mini toilet. Kind of wish I had one right now. We'd go on camera.
Big Ben McDonald's got his baseball in hands. We have our mini toilet when we come on camera.
Fits both.
We've got stirrups, we've got live oaks, we've got gifts. We thank you for joining us.
GIF or GIF?
Definitively GIF. Okay. We went through a period of, I would say, a few years where this was as confusing as anything we had going on in our country.
I'm glad we've solved that.
At long last.
Yes.
If you're still saying GIF by now, I think you're just a little bit slow to react.
That would be me.
2-2 on Jared Thomas, who had the RBI triple his last time in the third. Our guy Naveed up here has chimed in. Not a turnover chain in football, but a turnover toilet.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works. Tomato, tomato. Even though no one says tomato. That's why I've never understood that saying either.
More confusion. 3-2 to Thomas. And he bounces this one to Carter Graham at first.
Good read.
2 down. Why a good read?
Gets so much more time at first base, right? I mean, at third base, you probably got to go get that ball because you got to make the throw. First base, you get so much more time. And for Carter Graham right there, you can wait on the big hop instead of trying to guess on the tweener. And then plenty of time to go take it himself. And you can kind of see his mind working right now. Now the decision is charge or go. Takes one step in and then immediately backtracks. Has enough time to read the high hop and plenty of time to head over to first.
So 2 outs now. And to the 2 spot in the Texas lineup for Peyton Powell. Singled in the first, struck out swinging on a changeup in the third. Quinn Mathews has 9 strikeouts with 2 down here in the 5th.
And I love the pace. It is get it and go, get it and go.
Dotting.
I don't think he'll do it this inning. It wouldn't surprise me if David Pierce takes an offensive timeout at some point just to try to slow Mathews down, because you can't play the old game of stepping out of the box and waiting because of the pitch count. The only way you can slow him down is to actually slow the game down.
If you weren't with us earlier, Quinn Mathews took umbrage in the Stanford dugout, was slamming that glove everywhere in frustration after giving up 2 in the third. Those are the only 2 Texas has against him. Funny guy when he told you that about Quinn Mathews. He told us about his glove, by the way. Thought the reason why I wasn't getting as much notice in the draft last year was because my glove was too boring. So I put some more colors on it.
So we've solved that.
1-2. It was black and red last year.
He's gonna get plenty of notice this year, purple glove or not.
Two to Powell, and a full count on Peyton Powell. This guy's been one of the best bats for Texas all season. Solidified third base. That was a problem spot for the Horns early. The payoff. Powell strikes out. 10 Ks for Quinn Mathews through 5. It's one word, Omaha, that is on the minds of college baseball players and teams everywhere, year-round, across the country. Texas 1 win away, and like yesterday, they are down by 3 runs, and only 2 teams have overcome 3-run deficits in both super regional wins in a season. Carolina, North Carolina, that is, in 2007, and Clemson in 2006. Texas down 3 in the 6th. Then Tommy Troy pops one skyward down the right field line, and Jared Thomas sticks with it for the first out.
The flags aren't moving much anymore, but the wind clearly is still having an effect on that baseball, because ultimately Jared Thomas had to go on a dead sprint. So I don't know if it was that year or not, but one year, and it had to be a super. I had North Carolina, South Carolina postseason, so I think it had to be a super. And they came out one game, and both were wearing jerseys that said Carolina and nothing else on the front. You want to talk about confusing. I mean, you see Carolina, you just say Carolina the entire game. It's made it really easy.
Here's Carter Graham. When you're broadcasting a game, let's say on ACC Network,
yeah,
I get in the habit of just referring to North Carolina as Carolina.
Yeah. And then the tweets start coming.
Yeah. Can be confusing if you're a Gamecocks fan. And then you get into the whole SC USC discussion with South Carolina. at a school not too far
South
from here.
Carolina's always involved in this.
Just Stanford across the chest for Carter Graham and company. 0-2 from Travis Staley. Soars high. He's got good stuff. Firm fastball there.
Yeah, he's been up to 95 tonight for Staley. Starter stuff too. I mean, it's more changeups to lefties, more breaking balls to righties, but the fastball velo's there.
Strike 3 called. Staley freezes Carter Graham, and there's 2 down here in the 6th. Well, we have 6 tickets punched. South Carolina went up against Florida, but Florida, the #2 overall national seed, boy, they have looked the part since going down in their regional in the 1-0 game against Texas Tech.
I mean, how about we get 4 of the 8 top 8 national seeds already in? Kirk Sawalos and the Frogs making the trip back for the 6th time in history of that program. By the way, just confirmed my toilet story with Cal State Fullerton, so that makes me feel better. I like my source on that.
You got the name right on your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Braden Montgomery lifts this one into shallow left center and dumps it down for his 2nd hit in as many innings. Out of the Stanford cleanup spot, he's been aboard 3 times and a 2-out base runner in the 6th.
This is right off the cap. Right off the cap for Montgomery, and what wind there is. I mean, this got in the air. This moved about 40 feet over towards left field. Watch it spin. It's like a high cut right there from a left-hander. High cut with a 7-iron that's just used in the wind.
I could have used that shot shaping with my front 947 the other day.
Ooh, that's silky. How'd you finish?
Back 937. We'll take it. We've got sprinklers that have come on. So there's a toilet flushing GIF, and then there's the unwanted plumbing making an appearance here. David Esker says, I swear that wasn't the point of the text message.
There was a dry spot. There was a dry spot out there. We're told to hit the sprinklers just shy of 8 o'clock. So there you go. Just give it 2 whirls and we're good.
We're getting a little bit weird here with Pac-12 not yet dark, but fast approaching Pac-12 after dark.
That's when it gets fun.
This happened in minor league baseball a few years back in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It was unwanted and the sprinklers came on and they just started blasting. We got that here at Sunken Diamond, and the problem has been fixed, we are pleased to say.
At least in years past, there were plenty of days in late July, early August. Sprinklers just happened to go on at midnight at the ballpark, and I'll be darned if it wasn't a little bit too wet to play the next day.
Oh boy. Get you a rain out whenever you want one. Alberto Rios, first pitch swinging, rolls it through the right side, a base hit. His first hit of the ball game, and now every Stanford starter has a knock. Back-to-back 2-out hits for the Cardinal.
Pretty fancy footwork by Montgomery right there too, because I think he ended up kind of pirouetting around this thing. Backside ground ball from Rios, 2nd time he's reached today. Just missed hit Montgomery, which would have then ended the inning.
Montgomery's still smiling about it over at second. Boy, he's been really impressive in these couple games here in the Super Regional offensively. So talented coming in last year as a freshman, 2-way guy. Good sophomore year as well. Now the rookie Malcolm Moore. Single in the 2nd, RBI double the opposite way in the 5th. The number's great here in these 2 days for the Sacramento native. Pac-12 freshman of the year. What's he got on the barrel of the bat?
Oh my God.
Little Captain America.
A little sticker. That's kind of fun. Throw a sticker on there.
That is some weathered lumber for Malcolm Moore. It has served him well this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't change out the sticker.
We had a wood bat elsewhere in the Super Regionals.
Yeah,
making occasional appearances.
Up in Eugene.
2 on, 2 out, 2-2. Is fisted by Moore, foul. Maybe it flipped over after Sunday Night Baseball. If you're new to the world of college baseball, welcome. It's awesome. This is the best time of the year. And lock in, because closing down these last couple of supers to be decided and headed to the Men's College World Series, it's a ton of fun. 2-2 again, and Moore strikes out. Staley bears down and strands 2 with elevated cheese at 96. Texas down 3 to the bottom of the 6th when we come back to Stanford. Tonight's Capital One rewarding performance. Through 5 innings, Quinn Mathews has struck out 10. He's got 16 swings and misses in this game, and he's up to 146 strikeouts on the season. That is second most in the entire country.
Changeup's been all right tonight. Oh, Mr. Mathews, and I think we saw it early. The stuff was there. Texas jumped him in the 1 inning. So 3 hits in the inning that ended up pushing across both Texas runs. But other than that, man, Quinn Mathews has been as advertised tonight.
8 of them with double-digit punch-outs for the senior left-hander. He's ahead of Dylan Campbell with a good changeup again. 0-2. This is 3, 4, and 5 for Texas. Down by 3, trying to do something their 3rd time through against Mathews. That fades outside. One thing Quinn Mathews has talked about this year with his changeup is when he doesn't have the good one, being able to still be effective. Well, he's got the really good one in this one today. This 1-2. Campbell in the air, right center field, and Seymour Campbell circles for the first out of the 6th.
You can see the outfielders a little bit confused because they're just used to the ball traveling more. And obviously, both these teams played plenty of games at night. But the wind is just enough coming in. It's a thick night. You got to get one to get it out. Just a break of Campbell right here. I mean, your instincts tell you to go back because so many balls are hit over outfielders' heads these days. But instead, Campbell has to bust it a little bit, come in and get it.
Garrett Gilmet now for Texas, cleanup man and catcher. Struck out swinging on a changeup in the 1st, and then grounded out to 3rd in the 3rd. And he's now 0-2. I mean, Mathews is just rolling, and he's working quickly, and he's loving that changeup.
It's grip and arm speed. I mean, grip has to, the best changeups in the world, the arm speed is the exact same as the fastball. The grip is the only change. And it's just tough for hitters to pick it up. Spin is the same as his 2-seamer, so visually it looks the same to a hitter.
1-2 for Mathews. Best changeup you ever saw of a teammate or a guy you went up against? Anyone come to mind?
Steve Woodard had a really good one when I got to Milwaukee.
2-2. Gilmet strikes out. 11 Ks for Quinn Mathews.
There it was again. I like, too, the way that Mathews has approached it tonight because there's no reason to stop throwing. Double up, triple up. The hitters should tell you what they like and what they don't like. And tonight, the hitters in general have not liked the changeup. Best one I ever saw. Who's the left-hander that was with the Twins? Went to the Mets.
Johan Santana.
Yes, Johan Santana is probably the best one I ever saw in person.
That thing was filthy.
Yeah.
Well, this is Porter Brown. Struck out on a slider his last time in the 4th. And it's 1-1. That was a breaking ball there. Also a pop to short from Porter Brown out of the 5 spot. The 1-1. Bouncing ball right side, and Graham can't pick it. Brown digs for second. Campbell up with a throw. And aggressive base running from Porter Brown pays off. It's a 2-out double for Texas here in the 6th.
I love the way this kid plays the game. I mean, loved it even more after we talked to him last night. But love the way he plays the game. Carter Graham's got to get in front of this ball. I mean, this is one where there's enough time. That one you got to try to tackle instead of going backhand on it, because you do have enough time to flip it. And even if you don't, Porter Brown's not going to be doing this. He's not trying to get to second base. 2 outs, so maybe sometimes you can afford to take a chance. But I think right there, that's one you got to get in front of. Keep it right in front of you.
Porter Brown told us after the game, after he came through in the 9th inning, that he walked up to the plate thinking all the pressure was on the pitcher. He was up there free and easy and loose, and he put the Horns ahead in the 9th in game 1. Eric Kennedy now for Texas, with Brown at second and 2 outs in the 6th. Longhorns down by 3. Loop double, infield single for the speedy Eric Kennedy, the veteran, across 5 seasons in Austin. 0-1. Breaking ball cut on and miss. 20th swing and miss generated by Quinn Mathews.
That was the curveball. We haven't seen it too much. I think he's thrown maybe 3 the entire night, but velocity down, so the slider's going to be 82 to 84. That curveball there, he took another 10 off.
Full arsenal on display here in the 6th. 0-2 off the edge. One, 2 down. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Quinn Mathews punched out 13 against Cal in early April. Came into this weekend 7th all-time at Stanford in strikeouts. 42 behind you. Time for 2nd all-time here. He has been one of the greats in Cardinal history. He's had 98 pitches. Has fanned 11 and deals with a man at second here in the 6th. 2-2. Kennedy takes.
That's a really good take. Really good take. It's a 2-2 changeup that maybe had just a little bit of cut on it, took it away from the plate. Watch Kennedy track this too. That is a really good take.
Into a full count. Kennedy in the air to center field. Eddie Park sprints back and runs it down.
Not tonight. Last night maybe, because that ball was juiced right there off the bat, but not tonight. Just not flying the way that it has in the last, well, really the last 4 months in this ballpark. And a great route by Eddie Park. A lot of times you turn around and see your outfielder's numbers. That doesn't make you feel very good. Makes you feel a little bit better when it's this guy out there. Eddie Park runs it down just in front of the warning track. 6 complete in Palo Alto. It's a 3-run Stanford lead.
You're watching the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. To the 7th inning. And Stanford, sunken diamond, the site of game 2 in this Super. It was ball 1 to Drew Bowser from Travis Staley. Came on for the Texas starter, LeBaron Johnson Jr., who went 4 to 3rd. And it's been Staley since. Struck out a couple in the 6th to leave 2 going through the heart of the Cardinal lineup. 2-1 on Drew Bowser. Tagged the 2-run home run his last time in the 5th at nearly 114 miles an hour.
Top spin. Top spin out to left, and it still went about 400 feet off the bat of Bowser. Back-to-back nights, he's been able to do that dance when he gets back into the dugout.
The synchronicity on the uppercut celebration is really sharp.
That is Chris Burke approved right there.
Berkey needs The synchronized?
No, he's the czar of home run celebrations.
Oh, yeah.
Like the helmet tap. No, you can't do that anymore. Apparently that's not like fun enough. But that one he's good with.
It's a really good one. We've had a stanky leg from Jared Thomas and the uppercuts from Drew Bowser in Stanford. Staley's 2-2 down. Are you familiar with the stanky leg?
How long have you known me? If you looked at me, would you think that I am familiar with something called the stanky leg? No.
3-2 is grounded left side, and a Peyton Powell throws out Bowser. So there's our answer. One away here in the 7th. We had Calvin Harris of Ole Miss in Omaha last year, and I asked you and Berkey if you guys listen to a lot of Calvin Harris music.
We both gave you the same look.
Not on the soundtrack.
Yeah. No.
Here's Seymour Campbell. First pitch swinging on the ground to Jared Thomas. 2 down. Staley's done a nice job here since coming on for LeBaron Johnson.
Well, 2 things. 1, keep it close, right? I mean, give your offense a chance to come back, which Staley has done. But 2, save that bullpen. Because you get to it tomorrow, and it is all hands on deck. Like, if you got spice, you're going to put them on unless they take them away from it.
Staley, we told you, can give you a lot of length. And he's tasked with doing that here in game 2. Timo Becerra pulls back at strike 1. Zane Morehouse came on for Texas to finish off the game and earned his 7th save of the season yesterday. He only went 16 pitches, so you feel good about his availability. Looking forward for the Horns as well. And those were 16 nasty pitches from Zane Morehouse.
It was 96-mile-an-hour cutters. That was one of those nights where he only needed 1. Just throw that one.
He had 3 swinging strikeouts. His roommate Porter Brown told us post-game that was big league stuff.
He was right.
There he is. 1-2. Becerra stays alive. David Pierce said after, it's electric. From Zane Morehouse, 5th-year senior. What David Pierce is telling us before this super started, he's now pitching. Earlier when he had some struggles this year, he was throwing. 1-2. Becerra takes high. Staley's 2-2 is down and a full count. Texas pitching has not had a 1-2-3 inning tonight against this Stanford offense that again ranks as one of the best in the country. Payoff. David Pierce and Woody Williams look on. Travis Staley's trying to keep this margin at 3. The pitch inside. Staley wanted it at 95. He thought on the black.
That was one of those spots, and that was really close to being a fastball in the inside part of the plate. To where if you execute this one, he's out. It just, you see the reaction by Becerra. He's looking for something out over the plate. He's got no chance at that one. It just misses on the inside corner. Linus Baker behind home plate's had a really good zone tonight. It's a little bit bigger to start, maybe on the outside part of the plate. Not much, but given maybe a ball outside, but it's been consistent and really good.
Back to the top, Eddie Park. How has TrackMan changed strike zones in the college game?
Well, there's, I mean, the SEC for one, but there's certain conferences that are using it to essentially grade the umpires. And so because of that, so you get a defined strike zone. The TrackMan obviously has the ability to tell you whether it's a strike or not. And then ultimately, if that's being used to determine how good your zone is, I think we've seen across, I think there's a lot of reasons why home runs are up this year, but the zones are smaller than they used to be in college baseball. That's not a bad thing, but it's getting closer to what the major league zone is.
1-1 to Park. In the air toward left and foul again. 1-2. And we've talked to a lot of head coaches the last couple of years who have said that offense in this game has kind of shifted as maybe the strike zone has, and the advancement of the technology that is filtered down to the collegiate level. Staley's 1-2 to Park, blocked by Gilmet.
So Eddie Park tonight has seen 22 pitches. Last night he saw 21 pitches. It's 43 pitches in 2 nights that the leadoff man for Stanford has faced. There is a lot of value in that.
A pest atop the lineup. That does what to you as a pitcher when you're seeing a guy like that many times?
Aggravates you. I mean, that's what it does. You're tired of seeing him.
2-2. This one skitters away from Garrett Gilmet. Timo Becerra, like he did in the 5th inning, moves up on a ball that gets past the Texas catcher.
He just kind of tugs a fastball right here. That's one I think Gilmet he wasn't quite sure whether he wanted to catch it or whether he tried to block it and couldn't get the glove turned over quite in time.
So now with Tommy Troy next, 3-2 man in scoring position. The pitch down. Back-to-back 2-out walks from Travis Staley, who's going to have to face Tommy Troy. Tommy Troy had an RBI double in the 4th. Came into this super regional with an OPS better than 1200, with a batting average better than 400, and a guy who on the biggest stages in the postseason the last couple of years has mashed. Take strike 1. Our MLB insider Kylie McDaniel has Tommy Troy going 16th overall in his mock draft to the Giants. 0-1. Sliced foul. Staley motors ahead 0-2. Staley's been better than a strikeout in inning this season. He's got the mid-90s gas. The slider and change as well. His 0-2. Troy stays alive.
That was good right there. It's exactly where Staley wanted to throw it. Elevated just up and out of the zone, and a good job by Troy if you're going to go after it just to get a piece. That's a tough one to center up, but he fought off a good one.
Staley stranded 2 in the 6th. Now 2 on in the 7th. The 0-2 spiked and blocked. David Pierce, the Texas head coach, said this week about Travis Staley, the arm slot is in a much better place. His arm slot with his fastball compared to the arm slot with the slider and changeup, it had been changing. He's right at this time of the year. 2-2 on Troy. He's tried off speed on the last 2 to Tommy Troy. Becerra's at second. Park is at first. And now Garrett Gilmet comes out to visit with Travis Staley. If you go fastball, where does it have to be to Tommy Troy?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that there's one spot you can feel comfortable if he's looking at.
Is that good? 2-2. Strike 3 called.
Throw it there. That's where you can throw it.
Knee high 94. That'll do. Travis Staley freezes Tommy Troy and strands 2 in the 7th. Big time spot. Staley delivers. Stretch time at Stanford. A 100 pitches deep into his night. Quinn Mathews, the senior for Stanford, already with a lot of mileage on his arm these last couple of weekends. He's back out.
You are going to have to fight him to get him out of this one.
Strike 1 to Jalen Flores. 7, 8, and 9 for Texas. Down by 3 in game 2. Texas put up 5 runs in the 9th yesterday to win game 1 in this best of 3. And Quinn Mathews has gotten better as this night has gone on. He has struck out 11. Hasn't walked anyone. 0-2. Tails away. It was a long conversation and process for Stanford head coach David Esker to figure out if Mathews could throw, if he was willing to. That second time last weekend, Mathews wanted the ball. He was certain of that. And you know he doesn't want to give it up tonight.
Well, he came back. I mean, he came back to be in positions like this, and Quinn Mathews he has been at his best the entire night. Hadn't walked anybody. He really hasn't hardly gone 3-ball count on anybody. He's been efficient for the most part, and that changeup he has ridden through 7 innings.
Jack O'Dowd now squares and pulls back out of the 8th spot. 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Quinn Mathews, when he was only drafted in the 19th round and when the Rays didn't meet his dollar figure, wanted to come back as a senior and lead this staff. O'Dowd pulls it on a line to right, and Sabor Campbell's there for out number 2. Quinn Mathews watched a couple of guys before him in Brendan Beck and Alex Williams, who were also Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year, come back as seniors. And he wanted to do the same and make sure that everyone on this pitching staff slotted into what their role was designed to be. Not everyone moving up one role. He's been one of the best pitchers in the country. 2nd in the land in strikeouts. Now Mitch Daly takes strike 1. Just 2 base runners for Texas the last 4 innings. Ball and a strike on Daly, who singled his first time leading off the 3rd. Mathews 1-1. 2 balls and a strike on Daly. Two-one pitch. Daly pulls it to left field, and it's a no-doubter for Mitchell Daly. It's a 2-run ball game in the 7th.
Well, the Horns aren't going away. They're not built that way. And for Quinn Mathews, this is a changeup that just hung right in his zone. Now Mitchell Daly, who had seen him for the 3rd time, singled his first time up, came around to score. This time gets a 2-1 changeup that just sits there and waits. 7th home run of the year for Mitchell Daly, and that gets Texas now within 2.
A guy who lost his starting job at shortstop for a couple of weeks last month, but returned to his post at short down the stretch in the postseason. And how about that big swing from the junior shortstop for Texas? Back to the top, and Jared Thomas is down 0-2. The senior Quinn Mathews with a dozen Ks. Pitching here at Sunken Diamond for very likely the last time. It's 0-2. Down and away.
Velo's held. That last pitch at 93, and he probably got a pretty good shot of adrenaline too. But velocity right where it was to start this game.
Pitch number 1-14. Thomas strikes out. Mathews with a stare down back into the Texas dugout after strikeout number 13.
Mitchell Daly's got the horns back within 2. 2 outs, nobody on, hanging changeup. 9-hole hitter in this Texas lineup. Gets it a long way into the Stanford night. 7 complete. It's 5-3 Stanford.
You're watching the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. Game 2 in a best-of-3 series. The Texas leads 1-0. But in Game 2, Stanford has the lead. Texas is now within 2 after the Mitchell Daly home run. All right, so Quinn Mathews put the jacket on, went down to the bullpen, comes on back toward the dugout at 114 pitches. Carter Graham pops out to Jared Thomas for the first out in the 8th inning.
He's not coming out yet. I mean, I'm telling you, at some point, if they do go get him, it is he's not going to be welcoming in that conversation.
His season high in pitches is 128. He's at 114 again through 7 innings. Travis Staley's got 1 down, faces Braden Montgomery. Pumps in strike 1 to the cleanup man for Stanford, who has walked and singled twice, each of his last 2 trips, in the 5th and then in the 6th. And the winter coat's on, not just because he's trying to keep the arm loose. It is chilly.
Yeah. Thank you for continuing to remind me of that.
Up high, and Montgomery went around. 1-2.
Did he? Yeah, just far enough.
1-2 pitch. Cut on and missed. Staley's fan 4. 94 for out number 2.
He has done a heck of a job since coming out of this bullpen. He has done a heck of a job. And you knew when he came out, because he's got 10 starts this year, I mean, he could theoretically finish this one. So he saved the balance of the bullpen. And if you can't come back, then ultimately you got everybody ready to go. But Staley has done his job.
Part of a Texas pitching staff that came into this weekend 10th in the country in ERA. 4.07, led by first-year pitching coach Woody Williams. 15-year big league veteran Alberto Rios now with 2 outs and the bases empty. Woody Williams spent the last 7 years as a JUCO assistant coach. Rios pops this one up on the infield, and Thomas gloves. Travis Daly spins the first 1-2-3 from Horns pitching in this one, and Texas is down by 2 to the bottom of the 8th inning. The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallets? Bottom of the 8th inning on a gorgeous night at Sunken Diamond in Stanford, California. And Quinn Mathews, the senior, is back to work at 114 pitches, ready to face the heart of the Texas lineup. Peyton Powell out of the 2 spot leads off. Singled off Mathews in the first. A couple of strikeouts since. It is 13 Ks for Quinn Mathews. Tied for the most by any pitcher in this year's NCAA tournament. The other two guys to hit 13. Hurston Waldrop, the Florida stud, possible first-round pick. And Wake Forest Seth Keener, one of the many arms on the best pitching staff in the entire country. Powell cuts through it, and it's 1-2.
I'm excited the entire country gets to see that Wake Forest staff in Omaha, and I'm really excited they get to see Paul Skeens on that stage. Skeens has had one of the most dominant years that we've seen a pitcher have in the last 2 decades.
Powell resists 2-2.
And Wake Forest leads the country in ERA, and it is arm after arm after arm that they throw at you. Activity now in that Stanford bullpen. I think this is the first that we've seen, and Nick Dugan is up and throwing.
And Mathews strikes out Powell. 14 Ks for Quinn Mathews.
And that's the main reason the pitch count is up. He hadn't walked anybody. The pitch count's high just because he's punching so many guys out. We're talking about the changeup, and the changeup's been great, but so is that. Slider has been consistent the whole night. Quinn Mathews, his 3rd appearance in this NCAA tournament, has now struck out 26. It matches his uniform number.
One that you wore as well. And the 14 Ks, a career high in any outing for Quinn Mathews, who's holding 93 at 120 pitches. This is Dylan Campbell. Bounces one to third, and that was foul. Well, Texas has 5 outs to play with here, trailing by 2. Dylan Campbell had the sac fly in the 3rd. The star, a 5-tool talent for these Horns. One up high. Two 2-1 pitch, and Campbell cuts through it. We only had one guy in the NCAA tournament last year reach 15 Ks. Quinn Mathews sitting on 14 with a 2-2. That sails high to Dylan Campbell. Payoff pitch. Fouled away by Campbell. .125 pitches deep. 3-2 again. Fisted foul by Campbell.
Another good, man. The ability to stick a glove side 93-mile-an-hour fastball exactly where you want. On pitch number 126 is well executed, and Dylan Campbell fought off one that would strike out most guys.
8th pitch, and Campbell walks. Texas brings the tying run to the plate against Quinn Mathews in the 8th inning.
I know Campbell's hitless on this weekend, but he still had some great at-bats, and that was one of them right there. Two things. One, you're trying to continue to drive that pitch count up, now nearing 130 for Quinn Mathews. But two, now Texas has a base runner, and one swing can tie this thing.
This is the most pitches any pitcher has thrown in one outing this weekend in the Super Regionals. Quinn Mathews' next pitch will match his season high. Cleanup man is Garrett Gilmet, 0 for 3, couple of strikeouts and a ground out to third. And that is strike one to Gilmet. I mean, how long can he go, pitch count wise?
If you ask him, he's not coming out of the game. But I would think this is probably his last inning.
Gilmet fouls it off, and Mathews is ahead 0-2. Gilmet is an exit velo machine. The highest, as we've said throughout the weekend, average exit velo on the team. Can he square one up against Quinn Mathews? On pitch 130. This is with a fastball. Gilmet has struck out twice on changeups. After the elevated fastball, Mathews 1-2 is down.
He took a pretty good one there. And that's what has got him earlier. That was the changeup, and in a spot that Mathews wanted to throw. It started, looks like a strike. It's not going to end like a strike. Now Gilmet has worked his count back even.
That's 4 times seeing Quinn Mathews. 2-2. Strike 3 called. 15 for Quinn Mathews.
Changeup elevated. This is actually one that Gilmet could have done something with. It actually cut a little bit too. These last few, he's got around just a little bit. It's the upper part of the zone, not exactly where you want to throw it. And that's similar to the location that Daly hit it out. But Gilmet couldn't pull the trigger. Strikes out for the 3rd time tonight.
Now Porter Brown doubled his last time against Mathews in the 6th inning. Takes strike 1. 133 pitches. Throwing here on this mound for the final time in a 4-year career. 0-1. Quinn Mathews ahead 0-2. This guy is 2nd in the country in strikeouts. One of the best all time at Stanford. His team with its backs against the wall in the Super Regionals tonight. His 0-2 on the ground towards 2nd, and Drew Bowser inning over. Quinn Mathews through 8 innings with 15 Ks in a gem. The NBA Finals head back to Denver for Game 5 tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus, and ESPN Radio, with the Nuggets trying to win the title. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7:30 on ESPN. It continues at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. A career high 135 pitches for Quinn Mathews. Seems crazy to ask, is he done?
I don't know if he is. I don't know if he is. I know that if it's up to him, no, he's not.
Malcolm Moore singles to right field. Stanford's up 2 in the 9th. And Moore with a first pitch knock, his 3rd hit of the ball game. This was Quinn Mathews coming off after the 8th.
Is he saying one more?
He might be.
I would not be shocked if he is. This has been one for the ages for Mathews tonight.
He's thrown 90 strikes. He's generated 27 swings and misses, and he has struck out again 15. Drew Bowser fouls off the first from Travis Staley. In this day and age, you have to ask, is it the right thing to let a guy throw this many pitches?
I mean, I don't know if there's no definitive answer as to ultimately. Here's the thing. It hasn't consistently happened this year for Mathews, and he's a kid that came back for this. I mean, he made the decision to come back because he wanted to pitch in games like this. If it's a regular occurrence, which it really isn't anywhere around the country anymore, then I think that's one thing. If it's a one-time occurrence, especially given this kid, I don't have any issue with it at all.
Ball and a strike on Drew Bowser. So 100+ pitches in his start last weekend. 3 days later came back 66 pitches in relief. David Esker, his head coach, would not let Quinn Mathews pitch in that game until he ran it by obviously Quinn Mathews and the parents of Quinn Mathews. David Pierce, the Texas head coach, is coming out for a conference here on the mound. But so David Esker made sure that Quinn Mathews talked to his parents, and as both of them put it to us when we chatted with them about that decision, also Quinn Mathews baseball people.
Yeah.
And Quinn Mathews said he turned around, he did a 360, asked his parents, and then turned right around and told David Esker, who then said to him, no, you seriously need to have a conversation about this. And so you know what he wants.
Yeah.
His parents were okay with it. A guy who got drafted last year by the Rays in the 19th round. And the Rays, he told us, came pretty close to meeting his dollar figure and increased their offer. But he decided to come back. He wanted this stage and these moments. He doesn't look done.
I don't think he does either. Interesting trip right there by David Pierce. And I wonder if some of it wasn't just to make Mathews sit there a little bit longer.
What's that do to a pitcher, the longer you sit at 135?
Well, you're jumpy, right? I mean, as stupid as this may sound, you're okay if you don't score any runs. Just let me get back out there. Let me get back out there. Let me go. And the longer that you got to sit there, man, you start thinking a little bit.
Drew Bowser strikes out. 5 Ks you see for Travis Staley. 1 away in the 9th. Stanford up 2 with Moore aboard looking for some insurance. It's the 4th time he's got at least 120 pitches this season. But the 135 again, a career high for Quinn Mathews. Saborn Campbell pulls back and it's a strike. Season high in pitches thrown in a big league outing this year is 119. Rich Hill against the Mets on Friday.
It's kind of college baseball's Rich Hill, so maybe it fits.
Venerable left-hander. Staley climbs back atop the rubber. Campbell drops it down. It's in a good spot. And Campbell is up. Thomas's flip popped out of the glove of the covering second baseman, Jack O'Dowd. And Stanford has 2 on with only 1 out in the 9th. In search of real estate.
That was heady right there by Saborn Campbell, who's now reached base 3 times, and that's when the feet can do damage. Look at the play by Jack O'Dowd, though. Watch where he starts. And he recognizes pretty quick that Staley's probably not going to get there, and now goes on a dead spread. Now, I know he didn't glove it and finish this play, but the mindset to at least think, I'm the only guy that can have a chance. Second baseman got all the way over there, but the speed of Campbell was enough. David Pierce on his way out, and it looks like that'll do it for Staley.
Who, for all the talk about Quinn Mathews tonight, and rightly so, has been outstanding in his own right. Travis Staley pitching in a different role now at this point in the season for Texas. 4 1/3 out of the pen, just 1 run against him, but responsible for 2 odd for Stanford in the 9th inning in game 2. Oh, we've got 6 teams already who we know are headed to the Men's College World Series. 2 more spots up for grabs. Wake Forest is the #1 overall seed. They are headed to Omaha for the first time since 1955 when they were national champs.
9 home runs today for the Demon Deacons. 9. And that's the team that, oh, by the way, also leads the country in ERA. So it's a pretty good combination. Wake coming in on a heater, and they've pretty much been on a heater the entire year. Have not lost a series all year.
Well, here at Stanford, Texas gives the ball to the sophomore right-hander Andre Duplantier II, with 2 aboard for the Cardinal and 1 out in the 9th inning. Batter is Timo Becerra. Shortstop in the 9th spot. He has swung it well his last couple of days. Getting the chance to start the last few weekends for Owen Cobb. Double in the 4th. Down 0-2 against Duplantier. Two is down to Becerra. Malcolm Moore singled to start this inning. Seymour Campbell had a bunt single. 1-2 pitch. Becerra lays off 2-2. Quinn Mathews waits. This has been his resting state the last 10 minutes or so. 2-2. Becerra stays alive. Quinn Mathews, the last 10 days, start of this NCAA tournament, has thrown 315 pitches.
That's a lot of bullets.
And has still been throwing 93. Late in this outing. His team up by 2. 2-2 pitch. Becerra on the ground into left field, a base hit. Moore gets a stop sign at 3rd, and Stanford has him loaded as the lineup turns over with 1 out in the 9th inning. Last night when Texas came to bat in the 9th inning, it trailed 5-2. Down 5-3 right now. Stanford knows all too well what happened a little more than 24 hours ago when Texas put up 5 to win it in game 1 in this best of 3. So Stanford searches for insurance. Couple walks and an infield single from the junior center fielder Eddie Park. San Jose native, honorable mention, Pac-12 choice. First pitch. You've talked about how many pitches Eddie Park has seen. It's right around 50 in 2 games in this Super. We asked his head coach, David Esker, what's the most impressive thing about Eddie Park? He said how tough he makes it on the pitcher. The 1-0. Park on a line left center field, a base hit to score Moore and to score Campbell. He drives in 2. 7-3 Stanford.
Just feels like with Eddie Park, the more chances that you give him, the better he's going to get as the game goes on. And I understand different arm. He hadn't seen Duplantier before right here, but he is so comfortable using the backside of the field. Shoots it right over the shortstop's head. Mitchell Daly was playing about halfway in, so if it was hard hit, he had a chance to go home. Those are 2 giant runs right there for Stanford. Extends the lead now, still just 1 out, and you got the middle of this lineup coming up.
Starting with Tommy Troy. 1 for 5 with an RBI double in the 4th. Takes high and tight from Duplantier. .1-0 pitch. Troy with a check swing foul. Troy was the MVP of the regional here last weekend. 3 home runs he just raked. Drove in 11. in the second of the 3 elimination games Sunday night against A&M. He hit the huge grand slam that blew it open.
That's the big one there.
Buckled.
Yeah, that's the big old slow curveball, and just caught the top end of the zone.
Looked like it fooled maybe a couple.
Kind of fooled everybody except home plate umpire.
Duplantier checks over at first on Park. Runners at the corners, 1 out. 1-2. Cut out and miss. Park on a first and third. Stopped halfway in the throw into right field. Becerra scores another run of insurance, and Eddie Park prompted that throw. 8-3.
That was heads up by Park too, because he stopped. There's no way he was going to get tagged out right there. Low throw. Den gets away, and Becerra's reading the throw the entire time. So throw kind of sailing arm side. And Mitchell Daly's just trying to take it on a hop and keep that base runner at third base. In that case, Eddie Park's going to make sure he doesn't get tagged out. Stanford's already got 3 across. Texas going to their 3rd arm this inning. 2 outs here in the 9th. It's a 5-run Stanford lead.
Texas turns to sophomore lefty reliever Chase Loomis to come on here in the 9th. 3 runs of insurance for Stanford. And now Loomis pumps in strike 1 to Carter Graham in the 3 spot for Stanford. Eddie Parks over at third. 0-1. Nubbert back to Loomis. Inning over. 3 more runs, and the attention turns into that Stanford dugout. Quinn Mathews bounces out of it at 135 pitches for the 9th. Whoa. Last weekend, Quinn Mathews gave a presentation worth a huge part of his grade in a class on alternatives to Tommy John surgery. It was on the internal brace for the UCL, that ligament in a pitching elbow. We say that to say this guy, as much as any pitcher you will find in college baseball, is well versed in everything that's at stake. And at 135 pitches, he goes out for the 9th inning, trying to finish off a Stanford win that would level up this best of 3 at a game apiece. 1-1 on Eric Kennedy. You saw the 15 strikeouts from Quinn Mathews. Only 1 guy in college baseball this year has punched out more in a game this season. Mike Monaco, Kyle Peterson, our entire crew with you. And Mathews keeps on pitching. A 1-2 to Kennedy. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two-two pitch. And Kennedy takes a breaking ball.
Went to the curveball. And that one missed. That one definitely missed in. But he just, that's a pitch he's probably thrown 5 times. Now facing these guys for the number of times that he has, that time trying to give him a different look.
5-run lead. Do you need him out there right now?
Need? No. You gonna tell him?
Not me. And he might have just sprinted right on out of that dugout at the end of the last half inning on his own. Ties up Kennedy. Moore hangs on, and it is 16 strikeouts from Quinn Mathews.
Came back with a changeup. And this is probably ball 4. You can see Kennedy in protect mode. Texas just trying to get something going offensively, and once those hands start, he can't slow them down. That's now everyone. Everyone in this Texas lineup has struck out at least once tonight.
Last time we saw a pitch total this high in Major League Baseball was 10 years ago. Tim Lincecum in his no-hitter against the Padres in 2013. 148 pitches. Quinn Mathews at a .142, and with one out in this ninth inning, ready to face a pinch hitter in Jaden Duplantier. Came on to run late in the game in the ninth inning in game one yesterday. Takes a fastball up high. One-oh pitch is a strike. The 1-1. Bouncing ball, and it's 1-2. Nobody in the country in college baseball has thrown more innings this year than Quinn Mathews. His ball, his game. 1-2 pitch. Bouncing ball to short. Timo Becerra. 2 down. Jacko Dowd is the last hope for Texas in game 2. Yanked. It's about as big a miss as we've seen all night on pitch 147 from Quinn Mathews.
Pitch 147, still at 93 miles an hour.
1-0. Down with a slider, 2-0.
Dowd probably taking one at this point. Get to a 2-0 count. You're probably going to force him to find it before you go.
He's 0 for 3 with 2 Ks. Forced him into a slider for a land strike. On pitch 150. Pulled into right field. Base hit down the line into the corner. Saborn Campbell cuts it off. And O'Dowd with a stand-up 2-out double here in the ninth. I mean, it's 150 pitches. The last big league pitcher with 150 in a game, 2005, Levon Hernandez, 18 years ago. This is the pitching coach, Thomas Eager, who comes out to chat with his senior left-hander, Quinn Mathews.
Look at his face. He was staring at him the whole time.
Pointing toward the batter's box, and you probably know what he's saying, that he wants a CG.
I know exactly what he's saying. What he's not saying is, I'm done.
Not 99 pitches, 99 strikes. When he came back on just a couple days rest to pitch in relief in game 7 of the regional last weekend, Quinn Mathews said afterward, it was a straightforward conversation. I told them I was pitching. Delivering a similar message here in this one. He's got to face Mitch Daly, who homered his last time. 2 for 3 against Quinn Mathews. One-0. There's the strike, 1-1. 1-1 pitch. Daly takes strike 2. Most strikeouts in any outing in college baseball this year, 17. Quinn Mathews has 16. His 1-2. Back foot breaking ball blocked by Malcolm Moore.
That's 3 sliders in this at bat. Remember, Daly on the home run hit a changeup out to left.
Two. Pulled down the line on another slider. Quinn Mathews has emptied the tank and then some tonight. 2-2 again. Bouncing ball left side, and Tommy Troy finishes a complete game from Quinn Mathews. Game 3 tomorrow for a trip to the College World Series.
Well, I will tell you this, there will be plenty of discussions about pitch count and how far he went, but what there cannot be a discussion about is how good he was. I mean, that's legend stuff right there. I mean, you want to go back to the Texas lore, you go back to Austin Wood when he threw 169 pitches in 12 1/3 no-hit innings, by the way. This wasn't quite 12 1/3, but man, it was the same type of outing, and the last time he's ever going to step on this mound, he ain't going to forget that. And oh, by the way, we'll play again tomorrow night.
16 strikeouts, 156 pitches from Quinn Mathews.
I don't think he's pitching tomorrow.
I think so.
He's probably going to take the day off. But we will be here, and I'm fired up, man. These have been 2 really good ones so far. Tomorrow night, I don't think tomorrow night's going to disappoint.
2 heavyweight programs who each of the last 2 years have been to the Men's College World Series. 2 spots are left in the 18 field in Omaha. Wake Forest, best team in the country. They punched a ticket earlier today. And now it's Southern Miss, Tennessee, Stanford, and Texas waiting on those last couple of precious spots. 16 Ks, KP, from Quinn Mathews.
You're to see them all right here, which means this is going to take a while. Because 16 punch-outs for Mathews. He had 1 in every inning, at least 1 in every inning. And he struck every hitter out in the Texas starting lineup. Changeup was solid the whole night. He found the slider a little bit later on. Fastball was 92 in the first and 93 in the ninth. Quinn Mathews did everything you could ever ask a kid to do on this stage, and because of it, Stanford and Texas will play with a trip to Omaha on the line tomorrow night.
Quinn Mathews is coming over to get the headset, and you will hear from the man himself. Quinn Mathews is with us. Quinn, you just finished off a legendary performance. 156 pitches. What were the last few innings like in the conversation about you finishing this?
Yeah, I mean, I told them I was good to go. It wasn't like that they were going to try and take the rock out of my hand. I mean, I gave up a hit there that made it a little more interesting. But, I mean, did the job. The team got the win, but we're not done yet, so we got to get right for tomorrow.
What was the last discussion when Thomas came out in the ninth?
He goes, let's have an adult conversation. I said, I'm getting this kid out. And, again, pretty stern conversation there. But, I mean, they gave me the leeway there. I knew that it was my last hitter of the game. I didn't know what my pitch count was at. But, like I said, I knew I wanted the rock. And, I mean, at least give the bullpen a shot tomorrow, and we'll be ready to go.
To be fair, that would be more of a statement than an adult conversation. Oh, I'm going to get this guy out.
That's basically what he said. Yeah. Because I walked off, and he's like, all right, that wasn't much of an adult conversation, Quinn. And I said, yeah, it was. You know me. Come on now, Eats.
For about 20 minutes, Quinn, before that last half inning, you waited. What were you thinking about?
getting 3 outs and getting ready to play tomorrow morning or afternoon or night, probably night since we're on the West Coast, right? So, and then I got a lift, which stinks, but whatever. It is what it is.
They still have rules around here.
They do.
This is why you came back. Did you envision it being like it was tonight?
No, I mean, you don't envision this, unfortunately. My stuff's not that good. So, I mean, Texas put some swings together. I mean, that leadoff kid got me for that triple on a first pitch, and they made some good swings, and, I mean, I made some good pitches. The defense really worked for me tonight, which was awesome to see. And, I mean, like we said, we're 0-1, which is unfortunate, but now we're 1-1, so we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Quinn, after what happened to you guys last night, what was the message among the team? And I guess in the David Esker group text as well, with the toilet flushing to get back and get a win here in Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, we never like to make it easy on ourselves, which is kind of just the team message. I mean, we played, you know, 3 elimination games last weekend, and of course we're playing 2 elimination games this weekend. It's just fitting for us to only be playing elimination games rather than ahead. So we'll try and make that adjustment if, you know, the season continues on. But honestly, we're just looking forward to tomorrow, and I'll probably be hot if needed. So I'll try and convince them to pitch tomorrow.
Your spikes aren't going to be in your locker tomorrow, bud. That I can promise you.
No, they'll be in my backpack with my gloves. Like I said, I probably got 3 outs in me tomorrow, so I'll try and convince them here in the next hour or so.
You tell me how that conversation goes.
Yeah, that's not going to be an adult conversation. Thanks, guys.
Quinn, congrats. Go celebrate.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Adult conversations on the mound and on the headset, and he has his logic, and boy, did he deliver one for the absolute ages on this stage in Stanford, California. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, wow is all you can say. The kid was, I mean, I said it in the middle of the game, man, you're going to have to gang tackle him to get him out of this game, and they couldn't get it done. 16 punch outs for the big left-hander, and we got one more tomorrow night, probably the final trip to Omaha on the line. I enjoyed it. We'll see you again tomorrow.
He's Kyle Peterson. I'm Mike Monaco, our entire crew behind the scenes, led by producer Scott Mathews and director Billy Proctor. We say so long and come on back tomorrow. More college baseball. Southern Miss and Tennessee in a Game 3, and Stanford and Texas in Game 3 out west. We'll talk to you tomorrow.